we're just going to start with music because we never do it, and I have that music, and we're starting with music, okay?
Okay, for me, I don't know if it worked for listeners, but for me, you were like all robot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I noticed that
Still?
happens. No, now you're better.
Okay,
But I noticed that happens, at least on my end,
great.
whenever you like make a switch. Oh, AC Wraith says total robot.
Yeah, sorry. Um, yeah, that's 100% because I'm running on my laptop, and because the dog keeps chewing through the Ethernet cables, so I don't have a direct hard line from the dock. I gotta get well, she's gone through 6 of them now. I just
Jesus Christ.
yeah. She's like she sees an Ethernet cable coming, and she's like, "Ooh,
Oh,
lunch."
I love these toys.
We love those. Um, yeah, and I gotta get them well, it's because I have not had time to sit for, like, 6 hours and sort out my Mac situation, but I just got my email back on my Mac. So
Okay.
now that we have that, now I'm kind of between do I want to take the way too big, way too much soundboard from Kevin's and switch it out with my old broken one that's smaller? Or do I want to go buy myself a very small box that will do everything that soundboard does? But I mean, not everything, but that would be a little teeny tiny box that just takes care of it all. And I think I'm gonna do the little teeny tiny box that takes care of it all rather than but then I don't if I do that, then I don't wanna, like, switch out and put Kevin's big machine in there in the meantime. So it's a work in progress. It will get there. I also came across a Mac Mini, so in Kevin's stuff, so I may actually not have to buy a new computer.
Okay. The Mac Mini is still like a good computer.
Actually, I don't know how long ago he bought it, so I'll have to look to see
Hmm.
if it's even better than what I've got.
Mhm.
It probably is not. But yeah, it's what I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet and buy a new computer, but I just can't do it
But then
before
you have a laptop. You just
I
bought
have
the
a
new
PC
laptop.
laptop. I have a
Yeah.
PC laptop, but I mean, I guess I just really don't wanna use my gaming laptop as my, like, regular editing computer and making videos and stuff because it just doesn't work as well because it's PC. Also, I like the fact that I can just unplug my PC and take it with me to go to work.
Hmm.
Because I occasionally do need to use it at work, and I really, really, really don't want all of my personal stuff on the hard
Yeah.
drive
That
that
makes
I'm
sense.
taking to San Francisco on my back. That's
I imagine a gaming laptop too is a lot bigger than whatever Mac you would get for work.
oh, I don't have a Mac for work. I have a PC for work.
Oh, okay. Well,
I
whatever
have a
you would.
laptop that's my work laptop that is relatively small. I have my gaming PC that I occasionally need to take in because if I have to need to do something like Photoshop work, the work laptop just doesn't have the horsepower to do it.
Hmm.
And then I've got my Mac at home, which has all of my business stuff, all of my personal stuff, copies of my taxes, all that stuff. That is something I do not want to have ever leave this house.
Okay.
So I've got to have a desktop, and it really should be a Mac
You got a
because
lot of
that's where
computers in that
everything
house.
is. Hmm?
You got a lot of computers in that house.
I am looking right now at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 computers
You have like a computer for
just from where I
every
can sit.
need.
There's more in the other room.
Jeez.
This is all Kevin's stuff. It's all Kevin. Actually, take it back. Nope, I take it back. There's 7 and 8 in within my purview.
You know, these machines are generally designed to multitask. so that you don't need one for every single action?
Kevin, I'll see all but one, my gaming laptop, my work laptop, and my desktop are mine.
Okay.
The Mac over there, the MacBook Air, that was Kevin's. The MacBook Air over there, that was Kevin's previous computer. The big tower PC over there was Kevin's Hackintosh that he made. And then the Mac Mini is over there. And he's got 3 more in the other room. And those are the ones that work. That doesn't count all the legacy Macs that he has. Because he has all the Macs he never threw away a computer. Never
Okay.
threw away a computer, never got rid of a computer, never sold a computer.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. So we have a lot of Kevin Macs. I mean, I have a literal box in the front hall that is labeled drill press. And I have filled that box up twice with hard drives, taken them out into the backyard, put a drill press through them, and taken them to the hazmat disposal. And it's full
Wow.
again. And there's still hard drives in there. And I don't have time. There's 2 hard drives in there that he labeled crypto.
Ha.
Now, I don't know if that means that it was encrypted for his work, because they did use encryption,
Okay.
or if that was cryptocurrency that he didn't tell me about.
Yeah. Check it out. Did he buy a Bitcoin like 10 years ago? That would be worth finding out.
At the height of I would say in the last 4 years of his life, he could have done anything and not told me. I mean, I look back now, 2020 hindsight, and realize that there were signs that he was becoming ill way before he became ill. And that was one of them, that he was weird with money, unusually weird with money. And so he could have very well bought crypto, or it could just be encrypted.
Have you looked at that hard drive? Can you get into it?
I can't get into it because they were the hard drives that actually has a physical key you need to put into it. And I have yet to find the physical keys.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Okay. Sounds like you're going to have to try to find a way to make a mold replica of this key to get into there. It could be treasure. This could be a treasure hunt, or it could be like that gangster's burial crime.
Right.
Jimmy
Al
Hoffa's?
Capone's. No,
Al Capone's vault.
Al Capone's vault.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a feeling it's more Al Capone's fault.
It could be that. It turns out he bought a ton of cryptocurrency and it's all negative now.
No, he would have bought Bitcoin. He would have bought Bitcoin. And he would have bought Bitcoin a really long time ago.
Okay.
So,
yeah, look, at the very least, that one seems like it's worth hanging on to.
Yeah. No, it's worth selling. It is absolutely worth selling.
I mean, well, you don't want to sell it before you know what's on it.
Right. No, if it's Bitcoin, I'm totally selling it all. Cryptocurrency means nothing to me. It's just a matter of time before it all falls. So I'd rather get it. I wish I'd known about it when crypto was at it. When Bitcoin, what is it? It's high.
Hey, Siri says those Starfield DigiKeys can't help you now.
No, thank you.
No, you can't hold up a little telescope to your eye and hack into the hard drive.
Yeah. Digipix. I wish. All right, I said that we are going to start the show with the music, and then we started the show without the music. Starting the music.
This podcast discusses video games, modern culture, and technology, and these podcasters are big fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 691. We are recording this on Sunday, September 10th, 2023. I'm Edie Sellers. With me is Nick DeNicola. And yeah, so we're here. We are absolutely thrilled to be here. And Nick,
Yeah.
what have you been playing this week? Good Lord. I can't believe how hard it is to find any news on anything other than you know what.
I found some stuff. I've got some news items.
I did too, but it's really hard to find. I had to
Yes.
fine tooth comb to find any news other than Starfield, and it's just like bullshit filler stories about Starfield.
Yeah. No, you know what it is? It's a lot of, hey, do you want to do X in Starfield? Here's how you do it. Here's how you get the ships. Here's how you upgrade. Here's how you do it. Here's a map.
Yeah.
It's a whole bunch of Wikipedia articles, basically.
Yeah,
Like
essentially.
it's a wiki game. Turns out Starfield is a wiki game in the same way that like Submerged is. No, Subnautica is.
Subnautica.
Yeah. Subnautica, The Forest, all those games.
Yeah.
It's like,
so
oh wow, there's a deep tutorial here that kind of explains nothing.
no, it really doesn't.
And I'm still confused about
It really doesn't. I've never had a game that required me to well, I take that back. Other than Crusader Kings, that has required me to do this much YouTube research to figure out how to play this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
AC Rain says, I've been watching Starfield tutorials, and not only do I not own the game, I've removed it from my wish list.
Really? It's really good. I mean,
It's good.
it's good. It's very good.
It's good if you can work at it. It's a
Yeah.
game that requires a surprising amount of work to be good, and also a willingness to overlook a lot of its really, really terrible flaws that are like
Or
there's so much about the game that just like I'm enjoying it, and then like here's a little needle prick in your eye.
a lot of the things, like you say, dude, where's my map? A
Mhm.
lot of the things that I think that people are complaining about as far as the UI, like, dude, where's my map? It's not that the map isn't there. It's just not where you expect it, and it's not in the way
Well,
you
no,
expect.
there is no ground map. Eh,
There sort of is.
Okay, yeah, there sort of is, except it's not helpful at all.
It is. Well, see, but you have to take it into account that if you use your hand scanner actually has a breadcrumb trail so that it sends you in the right direction.
Yeah, until
So,
until that breadcrumb trail breaks.
yeah, at the same time, it's that if it breaks, you're kind of like you need to figure out why it broke, and B, it means that you're pretty close. So I have a lot of respect for it. I know that people are complaining about the fact that there's no map. I
No,
kind of
I
like the fact that there's no map because it gets you close, and then it makes you work for those last little bits so that you can do stuff like discover stuff because there's a shit ton
see.
of stuff
Okay,
going on.
I've had the complete opposite reaction.
Mhm.
And I guess we'll start into it. I don't know where to begin. But
All
like,
right.
okay, we both played Starfield. Um I know you did the stream where you played it like sight unseen.
Mhm.
Before then, I had read enough about it that I knew it has a slow start. I know
Right.
that all the reviews say like, yeah, the IGN review specifically is sort of where I'm at, where it was like, yeah, the first 12 hours were kind of bad. Um, and then it picked up for them from there.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that's kind of where I'm at as I've slowly come to terms with what type of game this is and in a lot of ways it's not a Bethesda game.
Right.
But I want to know, What were those first few hours like for you playing it on the stream?
Really not great. I mean, I walked away from it going, all right, I recognize that there's a lot more I have to play in order to determine if I actually like this.
How far
'Cause
did you
it
get?
was I have since subsequently gotten to I've got the first piece at the very beginning of the game back to the lodge. I got the second piece that's what's her bucket takes me to get. I've got dude back with me, whatever his name is, the guy that met me at the
Cowboy
mine.
hat? Oh, the
No,
mine.
mine.
Barrett.
Barrett. I've just met Cowboy Hat, Sam Coe.
Okay.
And I've doing now I'm also at the same time allowing myself to be distracted by activities and little things that are happening. At the moment, I am in a particularly long kind of side quest called what was it, Ground Lubbers or
Oh, ground pounders?
Ground Pounders. That's
Yeah,
it.
I've had that one on my list for a while, but I haven't looked into it.
It is long, very long, and I kind of like it because it is long.
Okay.
But it culminates in a star fight against 3v1, and it's challenging because
Mm,
there's 2 stages of 3v1, and I can get through stage 1, I cannot get through
no.
stage 2, and I was just working on it before the show. Um,
Yeah, I
that
think.
being said,
Yeah.
I
Okay.
it is definitely something that you have to get good at. It's a get good
See, I don't.
noob.
It's not really a game that you get good at. I think because there's not a lot of skill involved. It's
Except
just
for the space fighting.
even then. I think that's more like just kind of understanding how it works.
Yeah.
I know having the targeting system works really well. That's a very helpful thing to have because you can kind of it acts as a VATS system
Yeah.
basically. So that's cool. I have spent most of my time focusing on the main story, and a lot of the side things I've done have been either minor or like just absolutely terrible, tiny little missions on a planet
Mhm.
that kind of
Have you gone
convinced.
down into the well?
I haven't been to the well yet.
The well is fascinating. Oh, so much interesting stuff down there. So
Okay,
much interesting
I'll have
stuff
to
down
check
there.
that out. Um, yeah, the first time I played, I got so lost on New Atlantis, just trying to find
Yeah.
my way to anything that I was
Yeah.
like, I fucking hate this. This is terrible. Like
Yeah.
Bethesda, how did you fuck this up so bad?
Yeah.
Um, and I've since I still don't really know where any of the shops are, but I've kind of resigned myself to the fact that like I'm just not going to do any commerce. Um, I think the way that encumbrance works with all the crafting and stuff basically makes me not want to pick anything up.
Oh, yes. Oh my god. Uh, uh, the carrying capacity is a thing. Holy shit. And I'm in a situation now that I'm trying to do research, but I don't have enough. I have to spend skill points in order to get past the first level of research.
Mm,
But I have all of these resources and there's nowhere to put them. I can't put them on the ship.
yeah.
I can't, I maxed out the ship. I've maxed out the ship's captain's storage. I've haven't maxed out my storage in my room at the lodge, but that's not a really great place to store because it doesn't automatically allow you to have access to it when you start crafting. Um, but I also don't want to sell it. It's just like I haven't even started. I dropped my first outpost and it's like, oh, look at this cool outpost stuff. And I could build an extractor and I can build this. And I've run out of sealant. All right. Well, I guess I gotta
Hmm.
go leave and, like, okay, well, that was a thing. And now it's like, oh, I don't even understand how to do what I'm doing. The crafting is still a murky thing for me. But I've got all of these incredibly heavy resources that I can't take with me anymore because my ship won't hold it. I could give it to my buddies. Oh. I could assign my buddies to my ship. I could use them as wallets
But see,
for resources.
that's the
That is
problem.
a thing.
That's the problem I have with the crafting system,
Yeah.
is that there's so many resources that it requires, but you don't really know what is required at any given moment. And so it feels like the game wants you to collect everything, but at the same time prevents you from collecting everything.
Right.
And so for me, I've just decided I'm not going to craft, I'm not going to mod, I'm not going to upgrade. And I've gotten into the habit of I will collect enemies whenever I see a body, I always collect ammo and I'll collect a gun. But
Mhm.
the moment I get over encumbered, I kind of go through my weapon inventory and look at what's what guns do I want to keep, and then the rest of them I just drop on the floor. Because
Mhm.
I'm like, because I know I don't, to find a place to sell it means going into a city, and it means having to spend.
There's no other city. There's only one city that I found, so I have to go back to New Atlantis.
Okay, I have found another city
Where?
along the main story. Aquila City. Aquila City?
Oh, Aquila City. I was supposed to go to that in one of my
Yeah,
things.
that's
Okay.
Sam's mission. There's a
Yeah.
place there you can sell. But like I know, okay, I have to go here and I'm gonna spend 10 to 15 minutes wandering around trying to find a shop, and that's just not fun. And so I'm just gonna drop all this junk on the floor because it yeah. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. But,
So yeah, the crafting and also all those kind of side systems, I think maybe they come into play later. I've heard that shipbuilding is basically something that like don't even think about it until you're closer to the end of the game. Like it's an end game activity, and I wonder how much of these other systems are like that.
yeah. Well, I mean, you acquire all of these companions that have expertise in running a city early on in the game.
Hmm.
Like Lynn is now on my team and Heller is now on my team, and they have no skills other than, running a colony, running
You know,
a
running an
mine,
outpost.
an outpost.
Oh, is this your video?
No,
Okay, have you? I guess you probably haven't seen the powers yet.
the powers? No.
I
Don't
just I
tell me
just did
anything.
that. I just did that last night.
Okay. So
Um,
what I should do, because I'm allowing myself to get very distracted by all this other stuff, and I really should just go back to Samco and just stay on the main quest line until I get all my stuff
yeah,
before
I
I
that's one thing I've heard about it too, is that I've heard the main quest is actually very good.
Mhm.
That like where it goes in the end is actually really, really cool. I've heard that this game, there's a new game plus that actually kind of changes how the game works. And I'm kind
Yeah.
of interested what that means. Um, but yeah,
Ooh,
it's a
thank you for
weird.
that link, AC Ray. I do wanna watch that, the Jimquisition about encumbrance being a bad
Mm,
mechanic. Yeah. I I agree. Starfield has taken that to an extreme where it's so much stuff, and so little comparative space for encumbrance that, yeah, it's actually making the game significantly worse.
yeah. And oh, this reminded me. Another one of the reasons this game has such a slow start. And I was gonna say that, like, unlike a lot of other Bethesda games, it does really seem like you want to stick to the main story for a solid amount of time before getting distracted, because it doles out kind of important gameplay mechanics through the main story
Oh,
that you would
okay.
then otherwise not get. But also, it hides a lot of main gameplay mechanics behind skill points. And
Yeah.
so things that feel like they should be on by default, like using the jetpack, or having a hidden indicator, or being able to persuade people. These are all things that you have to sink a skill point into before you can even do the most basic version of it.
And in order to upgrade those skills, you must, do certain things, reach
Yeah.
a certain,
Y-
and
You have to
you
use them.
don't get credit for the stuff that you did before. So if you don't have this, if you shoot down a whole fleet of ships and you haven't put a point into piloting, you'll have to shoot down 5 more ships in order to allow you to spend another point for the second level.
Yeah. And
That I think is a real fucked up thing because I did not know that.
really, that's something that I actually don't mind.
Oh,
I
I
I
think
kind
that's
of
bad.
I kind of like that if I buy a skill and then I have to use that skill in order to unlock the ability to upgrade to the next one, which basically means
I like that, yes.
I have to use the skill that I bought to keep going with it.
Right. But the fact that it doesn't make that clear, I had to learn that from watching a tutorial video, number 1. And
Yes.
number 2 is they don't give you credit for stuff that you've done before, so it could come as a surprise. And say you don't have a point to spend on something and you end up doing, like, enough to get you past, like, up to level 4, right?
Mhm.
That one activity could be enough to get you up to level 4, but if you don't have that point in there, and if you don't spend a point, if you don't have a point to spend, there's no way you can get the credit for doing that thing that you were just all of a sudden found yourself in a dogfight.
Yeah. So
And
it's
so, that is the part that I agree that it's nice to see a skill leveling up that you get credit for, like, using it.
mhm.
But the fact that you don't get, like, it's not
It's not
retroactive,
retroactive. Yeah.
that is a problem because you could go and anytime a game that goes, that makes you go, "God damn it, motherfuckers!" That is a bad design. That is very bad design, and that's what this game did to
Yeah.
me.
A lot of I think there's a lot of that in this game. In that there's a lot of interesting things in it, but it makes accessing that stuff really hard. Like, I
Right.
think the world is really interesting, but all of the mechanics that are designed to let you interact with that world are almost universally bad. Or if not bad, like awkward and cumbersome and a little confusing. And
Mhm.
so it's this weird situation where they've got a world that I kind of want to see more of, but every method of interacting with that world is like kind of sucks. And so it's like it's this constant annoyance that you have to deal with, a constant like things you have to overlook. A- And
Agreed.
watching this video, I know this guy's playing on a PC because he's shooting too well.
Yeah.
One of the things I had a problem with that I still do is the sensitivity just always feels off on the controller, and I don't know
Yes!
what it is.
Yes. In fact, let me go back to what I was showing originally that was my very first playthrough, is I couldn't, like, I I couldn't aim
Hmm.
at the very beginning, the early fights. Like, I still have a hard time aiming sometimes, but I really couldn't aim, and I thought, "Man, I suck at games," and it's like, "No, actually, this game sucks at aiming."
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time tinkering with the sensitivity settings, turning it up, turning it down,
Mm,
and I still feel like I constantly overshoot or undershoot a target when I'm trying to aim for it. Whether
right.
it's in combat or whether it's just trying to pick things up. I still feel like I'm constantly it's just slightly off in a way that like you don't notice when you're running through a city, but the moment you try to do some sort of precise thing,
Yep,
then I notice it.
absolutely. Trying to find where the
And are you playing in third person or first person?
I'm playing first person. I was playing third person on the stream because AC Wraith gets motion sickness if I
Ah,
play first person.
yeah, I do mostly first person. But I've noticed, for me at least, uh, when you're doing the third person with the camera pulled all the way back, the character is so off center from the screen that there's something in my mind that kind of breaks because I'll go up to talk to someone, but I put the character model in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
But the target, the center of the screen, the cursor is not where the character model is. The character model is like always offset to the left of the cursor. So if
Yeah.
I run up to talk to someone and I stand in front of them, the cursor is looking past them. So I
Yeah.
have to then step like 3 steps to the left or something.
Yeah.
So it looks like I'm standing next to them, but that is actually how I select them to talk to. And it's a little awkward.
Yeah. Case in point, right there, I had to come all the way out from cover because I shoot right hand and the guy was off to the left of a
Mm.
thing. It just was, yeah, it was awkward to play in third person. Now, as far as first person is concerned, it's fine.
Yeah, it's acceptable, but I still find myself kind of like like I said, the sensitivity still feels a little weird at times. I haven't
Mhm.
locked in on something that feels good.
Yeah. Um, I like the weapons. I like the fact that there are so many different kinds of weapons, so many different kinds of perks that you can get on your gear.
I will say that is a cool system. The loot
Yeah,
system they have is
I
really
just
good.
found a chameleon armor.
Oh,
Oh,
yes. That's fun.
that's nice. Yeah.
Chameleon no, but
Um,
the moment you find a gun with a scope, it's like, "Oh,
ugh.
this is the gun I'm gonna use from now on."
Yeah, yeah. I gave away my gun with a scope to
Mm.
one of my guys I picked up in the bar. I'm picking up guys in a bar. One of the guys I picked up in the bar who is a expert with a sniper scope, or sniper rifle, so I gave him the scope. Um, but yeah, yeah. Is it a perfect game? No. Is it a very good game? Yes. I think that a good example, a good like litmus test of how good it is after what 3 days, 4 days of serious play. Um, Other games, like my litmus test for a really, really, really good game is if I play it all day long and then when I go to bed, I dream of it.
Mm.
I didn't dream of it. I haven't
Oh,
dreamed of it.
okay.
I got up and I played it more, and I'm really getting into like especially I'm really challenged to get through this star fight to shoot down these guys and finish this mission. But the story hasn't got me yet. It does not feel like a Todd story. And Todd stories are incredibly compelling. Now I have not it hasn't jumped up. I am very early days in the story, so I cannot necessarily fault it, but currently right now, I'm not dreaming it, and I could put it away and not play it right now, if
Yeah.
I needed to.
Well, I've I've have a I've thought a lot about, like, why it's not gripping me. Um, and part of it, I think this is something I had an issue with at first.
Mhm.
But at first I found the writing to be really, really forced and, like, a lot of games have characters that are just exposition, right?
Right.
But to me, it feels like every character in this game is just an exposition dump, and none of the characters really have much personality other than just here's my personality that I'm going to explain to you, and that's it. And like everyone exists to explain the universe to you, but I haven't really felt a whole lot of difference in the characters, and even the choices that you make in dialogue, there's not a whole lot of difference in character. Like I'm trying to be a jerk. I'm trying to be like a criminal who got pulled into the constellation and who is then going to go out and do crime. All the dialogue choices are like, yeah, I'll totally help you out if you give me money, but I'll
Mhm.
still help you out.
Mhm.
I'm still gonna help you out. Ev you no matter what you have to play has a nice, helpful person, because that's what the game is designed around.
Right.
Right? You're not gonna when someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, will you help me do science on a tree?" You're not gonna say no.
Right.
But it then situations like that to me felt really awkward. And it's like,
Yeah.
why is this guy asking me to help him do science on a tree? Why not ask anyone else? Like, why me?
Right.
And I think like Bethesda games have always been this way. They've
Yes,
always
absolutely.
they've
That's why I'm
always
like and Skyrim wasn't like this,
no,
and Fallout wasn't like this.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Um but I think the settings of those games did a lot to hide the artificiality and the cartoonishness of the quest design.
Mhm.
Because a medieval fantasy and a post-apocalyptic wasteland, they're not like full societies, right? They're kind of these developing societies. And so it kind of makes sense
True.
when a stranger comes in and everyone's like, "Hey, you, can you help me, random person?" But when you're in a universe like this, in a city like New Atlantis that's got a whole bunch of infrastructure set up, having someone be like, "You, come help me." And the idea that I'm going to walk up to a hostage situation and I'm going to become a hostage negotiator because I'm just like, "You sound like you're having trouble. I'll help you out." And the cop is like, "Okay, let's see what you can do." It's like, whoa,
Yep.
whoa, dude, this no, don't let some random stranger become a hostage negotiator.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so I think the setting makes those moments stand out as like being really unrealistic.
Mhm.
But I've since come to terms with the fact that this is basically a cartoon universe. For as much as it tries to go for visual realism, it's totally a cartoon where I can become a hostage negotiator just walking up to someone on the street and being like, "Hey, sounds like you need some help." Oh, I failed to persuade them, but you know what I can do? I can sneak inside and kill them all. Will you let me do that? Yes. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Um, so now that I kind of come into it with those expectations, I'm kind of enjoying the quests a lot more for the absurdity that they are. Um, but I think what still bothers me, and what I think ultimately makes this not feel like a Bethesda game,
Mhm.
is part of it has to do with the lack of local maps, the lack of land maps. Because in Skyrim, in Oblivion, in Morrowind, in Fallout, one of the most fun things to do is to just pick a direction and start walking and just think, what am I going to find? Because I'm
Mhm.
going to find something interesting.
Right.
I don't think Starfield has that same sense
No,
of
I have
exploration.
absolutely done that on some of these. I did that on the moon, and no, you didn't. I mean, other than finding bounty hunters that were trying to kill me. That was it.
Yeah. And the problem is that
And I couldn't steal their aircraft. I
yeah,
couldn't steal their ship. You know why? Because my piloting wasn't high enough.
uh
So I had to
I
leave the ship behind. So there's a ship on the moon that I can go back to eventually, and hopefully it'll still be there. Probably not.
I was able to steal a ship by complete accident. It landed on a planet and I walked up, went inside, killed everyone in it, and then sat in the pilot seat and it's like, "This is your new home ship."
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah. But the other time I tried to do that, I saw a ship land, walked over to it, killed all of the Eclipse members outside. But then when I tried to go inside, it's like, "This is inaccessible." It's like, "Why is this inaccessible?" And then the ship took off. I was
Oh,
like,
somebody was still
"Oh,
in the ship.
they saw me killing the buddies outside and decided to beat it."
Yeah.
And so moments like that are neat, but the problem is that if I'm doing a quest, I'm doing the main story, and it takes me to planet A, and I'm like, "Well, you know what? Planet B is right next door. I want to go see what's there." So I look at it, and maybe there's an abandoned mining facility, and I'll choose to land next to that abandoned mining facility. But when you land, so the way they explain this game is when you land on a planet, it procedurally generates the area around you.
Mhm.
Well, if I choose to land at the abandoned mining facility, it generally spawns that mining facility like 400 meters away from you.
Right.
And then it's like, oh God, I have to spend a solid 2 to 3 minutes just running, just across a entirely boring rocky landscape, all to get to an abandoned mining facility that maybe there's some guys that are killed, maybe there's nothing there because it's abandoned. But that's it. Like, I haven't really found anything super compelling at these locations. And then
Mhm.
it's like, well, I could there's an unknown thing somewhere over there, but it's 500 meters away.
Right.
Eh, there was one night.
Well, with the unknown things, that you can put that's I think where you're missing an important aspect of the landing far away is that if they've got like a landing area, you'll land there. But if they don't have a landing area, you have to land away from it, obviously, and walk and run to it. And that gives you the opportunity to pull out your hand scanner and scan everything around you. And you can see if something is unknown, put your hand scanner on it and scan it. And it'll tell you if it's a structure, if it's a life form, if it's man made, if it's a ship.
Okay.
Yeah. So
But
your
I
unknowns you
still,
can scan and know what they are and see if you want to like go
yeah.
look at them.
But even
But
then, if
they're
I
all
do,
so far away,
they're
and
so
there's
far
no
away.
and there's no, like, vehicles.
No.
There's no Mako. It needs a Mako. A Mako would change all of this. If
Everything.
you had a Mako that would allow you to create a localized map of what it has around it, that would solve your whole problem right there.
Mhm.
But, they flat out said that they intentionally did not put vehicles in this for exactly that reason.
And I think that's okay, but they need to spawn everything way closer.
Yeah.
Because the way it is now, you land on a planet, I visit one location, and then I think, I just want to leave. I just want to leave and get on with the quest because at least the quest will give me something interesting.
Mhm.
Generally, I feel like if you go someplace in this world that's not part of a quest, I have not found anything that compelling or exciting.
Right.
And
And
that's like a fundamental appeal of a Bethesda game.
right. This is suffering from my driving is bad. This is suffering from the
It's just bouncing off it. But you know what's funny? I've done that same thing. With the first time I tried to dock with the space station, I was just
me too. The one off of the moon. Yeah, that was
Mhm.
me. It's like, why aren't I docking? Boing,
Like,
boing.
why? How can I dock with? And then I realized you have to hit A and then
A
X,
and then X.
and it's like, oh, okay. I was.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That was when I would realize, oh yeah, A then X, and I can actually slow down my spacecraft and go
Mhm.
backwards. Um, what were you saying right
Oh,
beforehand?
everything spawns so far away. They need to
Every
make things spawn closer. Oh, there is no lack of there's a lack of exploration.
oh, that this game, dare I say, is suffering from um what's the name of that space exploration game that came out that was procedurally generated?
No Man's Sky.
This suffers from No Man's Skyism in that it's too big with a bunch of vastness of nothingness, which is true. That's exactly what space is, but that's not space isn't a very compelling video game. Reality is not a
Yeah.
compelling
And
video game for this.
you know what? I think No Man's Sky actually does a lot of these same systems better.
It does it better now, but at the beginning, I'm talking about like the
Yeah.
first 2 to 3 months when everybody's like, "Okay, we're in. What do you do?"
As someone who liked No Man's Sky from the
Uh,
beginning, I still think early No Man's Sky did a lot of things
and the
better.
story wasn't quite, like there yet, or it was there, but you had to really look for it hard.
Which
That's
yes, but I also like the story of No Man's Sky.
Thank you for linking to the Galaxy Quest scrape scene. Thank you.
So yeah, it's and you know what? You know what confounds me is when you're in a city like New Atlantis. The first time
Right?
I was there, I said that I got completely lost trying to find where things are.
Yeah.
Um, that there is no local map, and even if you go to the directory, like the stands, the information kiosks, there is no map. It's just here's all the shops. It's like, well, fuck. Okay, I can see that there's a shop for guns and a shop for clothes, but where is it? You just tell me it exists. Where's the goddamn shop?
Yeah.
And it just confounds me that they make navigating so hard, but like when you pull up the local map and it's that really awful like dot matrix
Yeah.
looking thing, you can at least see your orientation. Like, okay,
Mhm.
I'm here. There's another thing northeast. It's like, okay, I'm going to go back into the world. Which way's northeast? There's not even a compass. Your little HUD in the bottom left, that shows you it's like a compass, but only for objectives. So
Right.
if you have an objective, that will point you to it. But there is nothing in the game that points to like north, south, east, or west.
Mhm.
And it's like, wait a minute. That was the defining characteristic of Skyrim. The fact that they
Right.
had that compass on the top of the screen that would then also show you like points of interest.
So, I will say this, is that there is no north, south, east, west because there's no poles. That's an Earth thing. That being said
But when you pull
that
open the
being
map and you
said
see the orientation.
that being said, you can see where your orientation is based on where the sun is.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah, and you can see that on your map. Yeah, I know. I know. I know. I know.
Look, the thing is, there's always a north, south, east, and west because it's just up, down, left, or right. Every
Right.
planet has north,
Yes.
south, east, and west, even if it's
Exactly. And
not
this is taking
magnetic
reality,
north.
like I said, reality, the vastness of space and reality do not make a very good video game. And that's what this game kind of suffers from, in that, yeah, most planets don't have shit for long periods of time. So you have to run a long, 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 long way to get to somewhere else to see something. That makes sense. Doesn't make a very good video game. There's no north, south, east, west because there's no poles, or poles will maybe different. That makes sense. Doesn't make for a good video game. And I think that they took space a little too literally, in the same way that No Man's Sky took space a little too literally.
Except there's more. At least with No
And it
Man's
sounded
Sky.
good. It sounded good on paper, but in actuality, when you're like in situ actually playing it, it's not.
Yeah. At least with No Man's Sky, that was a survival game along the lines of Subnautica,
Mhm.
where the whole gameplay loop was like gathering resources. And so you could land on any planet and start gathering resources 10 feet from where you were, right? You could do that. This game, if you land on a planet, there's nothing to do 10 feet from where you are.
No.
And the resource gathering, uh, the whole system that governs resource gathering, as we talked about, is confusing and awkward and like it's something I don't even want to bother with. And so, at least with No Man's Sky, if I landed on a desolate planet, I could, I could still mine a basic resource and have like I could do something.
Mhm.
And yeah,
Well, in this one, you can do something. It's you can scan, and that's another one.
but you know what I've
Oh,
tried to do?
that's
I've
another
tried to
one.
scan. I've
I was
tried to scan.
scanning like a motherfucker, but I didn't have a point in scanning. So when
I
I put the point in scanning, it's like, "Oh, your next level is gonna be scan 5 unique things." I'm like, "I've scanned a bajillion unique things."
What do you scan? Because I pull out my scanner all the time to look around because it like shows you objective markers on the UI, and it gives you that breadcrumb trail. But whenever I'm on a planet and I can see the things I can scan, I'm looking around, but at most I've scanned like one resource. But if I look at an animal, I can't scan it. If I look at a rock, I can't scan it.
If you should be able to scan it. It means that you probably you're not close enough to scan.
Oh, do I have to be
Fairly
okay?
close. Nice thing is you can scan dead things, which is really good for some of the more dangerous ones. But yeah, you have to be fairly close to scan.
Yeah, so that's another system that I've not engaged with because I don't quite see the point. It doesn't really seem like it gives me much.
I would say if I was going to rebuild my character now with the traits, because really the background, I picked traits that I thought would be helpful to me. Or I should say, got a background that gave me skills that I thought would be useful to me. Persuasion, not really been very helpful, at least early game. And
I've
I
put more
picked
into it. I like persuasion. I like lock picking.
lockpicking. Lockpicking essential. I can't tell you how many locks I have picked. Dozens of locks before I realized you have to have a point in lockpicking before you can actually upgrade your skill, which is
Yes.
frustrating as fuck. But uh lockpicking is really, really good to have. Piloting, absolutely. Get something
Yes.
piloting at the beginning of the game because in order to get the second level of piloting, access to the second level of piloting, you have to kill 5 ships, shoot down 5 ships. You shoot down 3 ships in the tutorial. So that gets you most of the way there. And the longer you wait, the harder it is to shoot down ships because those are going to be the 3 easiest ships that you will ever play against.
Yeah.
The other one I would pick pick scanning. I would pick security.
Security's lock picking, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, lockpicking is theft.
Oh, what's
No,
security?
security is lockpicking. Theft is pickpocketing.
Oh, yes, I did. I got that for myself too. And that's been fun. I was once caught with
But
contraband.
theft is done right. You cannot pickpocket anyone until you get the theft perk. You should
It,
not be able to pick any locks until you get lock picking. So it would trigger you like, oh, I gotta go get lock picking. I was like picking everything, thinking it was, helping my skill. You got no credit for anything that you did prior to that. There was no skill ups. Yeah.
yeah.
Important thing to note that you don't get any credit for anything that you do until you have the point in that skill.
Yeah. I think I chose for like the background, I chose wanted, which has led to some fun moments because that means someone put a bounty on my head,
Mm-hmm.
and every now and then a random bounty hunter will show up and try to get it. And this happened
Maybe
once in
that's what I did.
space. So in space, I once got accosted, and he's like, "Hey, someone put a bounty on your head. I'm here to take it." And so I got into a cool, pretty difficult space fight, but ended up like blowing him up. And it was one of those neat emergent moments that's like, oh, this is fun to do.
Mm-hmm.
I like the randomness of this.
I got the super fan and I got the mom and dad thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, mom and dad is weird. It's a kind of creepy. They're because you go to visit them and then they're like, "Oh, honey, you're home. I'm so proud of you. You're with Constellation. I couldn't be more proud." And then they give you like a backpack, which essentially is a pack. Like I fixed your old high school backpack. It's in your room. It's still a mess the way you left it. Um, those fuckers, those little leech things. And now, like, I went out and did stuff, I came back to the lodge, and there's my parents in the lodge. It's like, "Mom, Dad, what the fuck?
I've
Leave
I've
me
heard.
alone." They give me shit, which is great, but they also
Mhm.
take 2% of my money.
Oh yeah, I've heard that they just hang out in the lodge.
They hang out in the lodge all day. It's like, wow, that's awkward. A super fan, he has accosted me. Also super awkward. Yeah, it's like, and you can make him part of your team, but still he's ugh. He gives me the huzz big time. Um Yeah, and I forget what the third thing I got was. Yeah, I don't remember what the third thing. Maybe it was Wanted. I don't think I got Wanted because I just wanted to give myself an easy time of it.
Hmm. I chose Wanted. I think I got like Neon Street Rat or something. So I'm looking forward to going back to Neon. And then I got Introvert, which is you get more health when you're not traveling with human companions.
Right.
And so I travel a lot with Vasco.
I think I did Extrovert.
Hmm.
Yeah. By the way, always assign Vasco to your ship. No matter who you're with, always assign Vasco to your ship.
Hmm.
In fact, that's one of the reasons why you should be extrovert, not introvert. Because unlike all of the other companions that, you could have people on your ship, assign somebody to your ship, and then also have a companion that goes with you out on your mission, and then the person stays on your ship with your ship, right?
Hmm.
Other human companions just stay inside hanging out, playing, solitaire or whatever. Vasco actually comes out and stands at the bottom of your ramp. And if you find yourself fairly near to your ship in a fight that's a little more than you want to handle, you can actually drag them back to the ship and then Vasco will help. And he'll
Huh.
go fairly far out. Like I did that once there was this facility that was being overrun by spacers, and it did have a landing pad. So it was right near there. Vasco came out, and between him and my companion, the two of them, they just wiped that spot
Hmm.
hardcore. And Vasco will come all the way out. If he starts getting triggered, he'll just keep going. So he becomes like a second companion to you.
Interesting.
Hot tip.
Yeah. Pist also has a hot tip. He says if you're looking to raise your piloting skill, if you join the UC faction, you get access to a training simulator that you can go back to as many times as you want. And the kills in that simulator count towards your
What?
skill
What?
in
Really?
piloting.
Really? Oh, soon as hurry up and let's end this podcast. I need to go try that to see if that's true.
You need to go join the UC.
That's fine. I'll join the UC. I'll join anybody that gives me credit for skilling up on my piloting. I also got mom and dad. Yeah, mom and dad are awkward, weird. And I don't notice the 2% at all. Neither do I. Mostly because AC Wraith actually pointed it out is that the vendors all have 5,000 credits maximum,
Yeah,
which
some
is
sort
a
of some
real
limit.
problem if you are a loot whore. I'm a huge loot whore at the beginning of the game so that I can get myself financially established. So money is no object because I like having money wherever I'm playing a game and in real life, but also whenever I'm playing a game. And yeah, that becomes a thing. And now I just want to figure out what I can do with my resources because I've got all of these ores like iron and lead and uranium and water and everything else that I've mined, but I can't put it anywhere because I can't use it yet because I don't have the skill for like suit engineering. So I can't do any suit engineering,
You can't
but I don't
actually
want to
start the
sell
modding.
it because when I do get the point to put into suit engineering, I will be very angry if I am forced to sell all my shit and then find out, oh god damn it, I need I need lead. Where can I find lead? I sold a stack of lead. God damn it.
See, the solution is just don't pick up lead.
Yeah. Can who die?
Oh, I think he
Oh,
meant like Vasco, your companions.
Vasco.
They,
No, I mean he
they,
could no.
if they take a lot of damage in a fight, they get
They get
like knocked
disabled.
out. But then the moment the fight is over, they stand back up.
Right. The more you know. Skyrim has the same problem. Which problem? The
Oh, the maximum thing.
the
But you
carrying
know what?
capacity? Yeah, but I
No,
never
no,
really
the
noticed it.
vendor limit in
Oh, the
Skyrim.
vendor limit. That's
And you know
true.
what? I have distinct memories of Skyrim. I would kill a dragon and I would get like a whole bunch of dragon bones from it. I'd fast travel to a city, go to a vendor, sell everything that I could, but inevitably I would still have some dragon bones left. Then I fast travel to another city, go to another vendor, sell the things there. And
Right, because you
depending
can
on what I
fast
did,
travel from city to city.
and it was easy.
Mhm.
Navigation in Skyrim was easy.
'Cause you
But
don't
in
have to go
this
from
game,
planet to planet, and not every planet has a place where you can sell shit, which is
yeah,
frustrating as
and
fuck.
in this game, it's like, well, I've got some stuff. I want to sell it. Oh God, if I'll go to Acolyte City and run up to the vendor there because it's fairly close to the spaceport. But then it's like, oh, if I want to go to New Atlantis, I have to fast travel to New Atlantis. Then I have to go to like the proper district. Then I have to find the store that I know I've been to twice, but I still don't know where it is or how to get there. So I've got to wander
Oh,
until I
the
find
the
it.
vendors, there's well, 2 things. 1, the vendor for selling everything is a mercantile right next to the spaceport.
Oh, is it?
It's right next to the spaceport. Big
Okay.
sign says mercantile. Around the corner from that, like, literally you walk out, you take a left, and you take another immediate left, there is a elevator that goes down to the rift. Sorry, to the well. There's a guy right there as you step out that will buy stuff, and then you walk a little bit farther down, and there is
I
the
didn't
was it
even know.
the armor exchange or something exchange that you can just walk a little bit, take another left, and then that one will take everything else and also take, stolen gear.
This is what's so frustrating. I didn't even know how to get to the well. I keep
I
having
didn't
people
either.
say, like, oh, yeah, there's this in the well. There's this in the well. The directory mentions several
I had
shops
to
in the
yeah,
well.
I had to look for the well specifically.
Like, ah, I want to play this game, but this game makes it really hard.
Really hard to play. Agreed.
Like it every time you want to do something, it has something that gets in your way. It's
Mhm.
constantly getting in my way. And my solution that I've landed on to kind of make it more fun is to just, like I've said, ignore a lot of the stuff that I find frustrating. I'm not crafting anything. I'm not getting into any of those systems. Encumbrance isn't an issue because I only pick up weapons. And if I can't find a vendor in time to sell those, I just drop them on the ground and leave them.
Mhm.
Um, and I've learned to not take any side quests on a planet because inevitably those would just be run to point A and it's just running, running along the planet's surface. And it's
Go
like,
into a cave, hand somebody a med pack, run back, and then they're like, "Thanks, here's 2,000 credits."
yeah. And it's like, I wasted 10 minutes of my life doing
Yep.
this.
Um, also, or was it something that made me think about it? Oh, money back. Oh, that's the other way to get around the 5,000 credit issue. Always buy all the med packs. Always buy all the ship repair parts under
Mm.
yeah, that's my thing. I didn't know you had to buy ship repair parts in order to repair your ship
I can't
when
find
you're
them.
in the ground. It's under aid.
Oh, it's under aid, not miscellaneous.
Yeah, it's under aid. And
I
I
ran
I
out of
ran
digipacks.
across it. I'm like, "Oh, is this why it says repair ship right stick when I'm in a fight and I can't repair it because I don't have ship parts." And you go
Yeah.
through a lot of ship parts, so just buy all the
Yeah.
motherfucking ship every time you see a ship part, buy it.
And
Or
you're
ship
right.
repair parts.
Med packs, I find myself burning through med packs in any combat scenario.
Yep.
Buy all the med packs, buy all the digipicks you can. I've ran out of
And sleep.
digipicks.
Sleep for 1 hour. Whenever you see a bed that you can sleep in, sleep.
Yeah.
increases your XP for 25 minutes by 10%. And when you finally get a companion that you can have sex with, they will sleep with you, and you actually get 15% XP increase when you do that.
That's neat. I don't think I'll meet any companion that I want to have sex with. All these
You should just have
companions,
sex with anybody. Oh, have sex with someone. Just you
all
know.
the oh no, there is okay. There is one lady I met who is like, man, all these other constellation people are goody two shoes. I like that you're not. And I'm like, okay, you can travel with me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I feel about the random guy that I picked up in a bar.
Yes, yeah,
He's just funny to
that's
listen
her
to.
name,
Yeah.
Andrea.
He's a formerly a UC weapons tester, and he's got a specialty in sniper rifles.
Hmm.
And he's kind of funny. He's really funny to talk to. So it's like, yeah, all right. I've already kind of tagged him as my possible interest.
I would love to
But
get
I flirted with Barrett, and that was a little awkward because Barrett immediately, as soon as I flirted with him, started talking about his dead husband. Awkward.
What was I gonna say? That's right. I want to try to find like sniper rifles. I want to try to get a sniper build to somehow mimic the arrow stealth build from Skyrim. That was so much fun.
Mhm.
I haven't found a good I the last quest I did last night before stopping, I got a rifle with a scope, like a legendary rifle with a scope. And so I'm hoping that that can be my first true sniper rifle.
I would recommend, I mean, there's a couple of them. There's one called the Hellbringer or something like that, that is a traditional rifle that you can put a scope on that shoots 50 cal. But my favorite is, and even though it was a base level, I found that gun and was like used it exclusively, was an Equinox, which
Oh,
is a
I have a
pulse
couple of
rifle, or
Equinox.
no, a
Yeah.
laser. It's a laser sniper, and if you can put I mean, you can put a scope on it, and it's pretty awesome. It's not as accurate as um a ballistic rifle, but it is pretty fun to play with.
Found a bunch of those on in Acolyte City. I forget where. So the thing with Acolyte City is that it's kind of the Fallout planet, in that you've got like this kind of old west settlement with a big wall around it to protect it from the wildlife.
Right.
The
Yes.
wildlife are called Asha, and I
Mhm.
found a shotgun called the Asha Hunter. That's basically a rocket launcher.
Oh, really? Oh, another good hint, and I don't remember the name of the YouTuber, but I wish I could give them credit. In fact, I will find out. Stand by. Because I want to give credit where credit is due on this one.
I will give credit to the Spiffing Brit, who, when the game came out, did a live stream of trying to find as many hacks and exploits as he can within like the first 5 hours.
Uh-huh.
And one of the things he found that I have used and is very handy, in the basement of the lodge, if you explore, you'll find a suit and helmet and pack in a glass case. And they're
Mhm.
like a really, really good suit, helmet, and pack. Like the defense is really high. You can take those because if you line up the cursor just enough, you can go in between the glass that it's encased in and take the suit and all the equipment
Oh,
and all the helmet.
really?
I've done that, and it's like, oh, I've just got the best early game armor.
Nice. All right, the credit I want to give to a channel called ESO, and he had a video called 9 Starfield Tips You Need to Know, exclamation point, and I'm just looking for stuff. He was the one that turned me onto this. Your companions have unlimited ammo for anything that you give them if you give them 1 bullet of it. Same thing with thrown items. So you have 3 um, frag grenades, right? If
Mhm.
you give your companion one of them, they will lob frag grenades like they're candy at everybody. Sometimes
Really?
you have to be a little afraid of it because they don't care. I mean, you could be standing right next to them and they'll lob it. Same thing with bullets. Like you give somebody a rifle that's a really good rifle or a really good laser, whatever, a really good pistol, but the ammo is really hard to find. If you give them that pistol and one bullet of the uh right caliber, they have unlimited. So you don't
Okay.
have to give them the whole stack of 200.
That's
Because
good
it's
to know.
happened where it's like I have a limited quantity and I was like, oh, I hate giving my companion this gun because this is the gun that they have a proficiency in, but it uses the same caliber ammo that I use, which means I'm going to be splitting my ammo.
Yeah.
That I don't really want to do. So I would have to give them something they weren't proficient in. Well, no, I just give them that weapon and one bullet, and then they're good forever. If you want to, you could give all of your companions one bullet of every kind of ammo, and then you never have to worry about them ever running out of ammo and having to switch a weapon.
Hmm. I will do that
Yeah.
because I've got a whole bunch of throwable items. I like throwing grenades, so I will happily give my companion some grenades and let them become a little walking mortar.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And there's a couple of guns that are later on that are epic guns, and they have like they pump out like 200 rounds a second. I mean, it's
Mm,
just like essentially just massive amount of damage. But you give that gun to them and one bullet, and they can do it all day long, every day.
yeah, the
Yep.
hiss that's what he does.
Yep, everyone on the ship has that one of every ammo, so then you never have to worry about giving them a weapon and not having the ammo for it.
I've never even thought about that. I've never even thought about giving my companion a different gun.
Oh, oh, yes. That's how you determine your companions of what their proficiency is. That's
Hmm.
why I picked the companion that I did because he has a sniper proficiency. So I went shoddy. Oh, I have a shotgun that's an amazing epic shotgun. But I went shoddy and left him as a sniper. I have shoddy and pistol, and he just stays up on the hill and just takes out everything. But I gave him my good was not an Equinox. It was I think it's a Warbringer with a short scope. Unfortunately, it's the only thing I could find.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's amazing. Oh, and you also should kit out your um, companions with armor that is complementary to their skill set.
Hmm.
So if you find like Lynn, for example, she's good at mining and she's also has a proficiency towards grenades and explosives. So if you want to bring Lynn along to just, like essentially splatter paint with grenades, you give Lynn one frag grenade and you let her loose and you stay the fuck back because she will just do nothing but and then of course you want to put her in armor that gives extra perks for damage or protection from explosives.
Okay. That's actually a good idea.
Yeah.
Never thought
And the
about that.
way that you can't just put it in their inventory. Like with Skyrim, if you gave your um your companion equipment, they would automatically pick that equipment, like the best equipment for them, and they would put it on. Or if you gave them a weapon that was better than their base weapon, their default weapon, they would just start to use it. You actually have to instruct them to put it on and
Oh,
instruct them to use it. So when you're in their I mean, I'm just looking at it from the Xbox. I don't know what it is on PC, but when you're in their inventory screen, you will see an equip button.
oh.
It's Y on Xbox, and you tell them to equip it. So you have to make them equip it.
So, yeah,
That's also a tip from ESO, by the way.
yeah, that's good. I think I will do that. I want to see how the main story ends because, like I said, I've heard a whole lot of good things about it. I don't know how much I will play of the game past that, though. Like I said, it's an interesting world, but there's
I'm
not a
really interested
whole
in the
lot.
base building. I'm really interested in the base building.
I'm not. I don't want to build a base.
I know, but it's me. I like that kind of
I
stuff.
think the ships are neat. If I could get into shipbuilding, then I might. But like I said, I've heard that's such a late game thing.
People are
Yeah.
already like making hot dog ships and
I've seen someone made the Millennium Falcon naturally.
yeah,
Someone made the Firefly from Serenity.
yeah,
They made a Star Destroyer.
yeah.
I saw someone had a really clever ship design because they were asking when enemies lock onto you, what exactly are they locking onto? And what they discovered is that enemies basically lock on to the center point of your ship. So depending on how you make it, they lock on to the center point, and that's where all of their missiles and things are tracked to. So he made a ship that's like a weird L shaped, which caused the center of the mast to basically be outside the ship. And so then when he's flying head on to an enemy, that enemy's shooting at them, and all the shots and all the missiles just go past the side of the ship because the point that they're aiming at is not the actual ship.
Oh, it's
It's like,
genius.
oh, that's a really clever design.
Smart.
Mm-hmm. See, like there's
Were there
neat
any other
stuff in the
exploits
game. There's
that
fun stuff.
Spiffing Brit found other than
He did one that I tried to do, but I couldn't get it to work. If you enter a zone with contraband,
Mm-hmm.
you get scanned.
Mm-hmm.
You can't land at a city before they scan you, right? You're not authorized to land in a city, but you can land elsewhere. So what he did is enter the system. They started scanning him. Before they're able to scan him, choose a landing spot. Choose to land at that abandoned mining facility. You land there. He goes outside, dumps the contraband, gets back in the ship, goes up, gets scanned, gets the green light, then goes and re-lands at the abandoned mining facility,
Picks up the contraband.
walks out, picks up the contraband.
Goes back into the ship and then enters the city.
Yep. And
Because I have come across contraband and it's like, you know what, I'm leaving it behind. And where it was on that ship that I couldn't steal.
Oh.
I did set up an outpost right next to it. So
Okay.
if I can figure out where I put my outpost, I have no idea where my outpost is. But if I can find that outpost, I might be able to steal that ship. And get the contraband.
Yeah. And
If
so
it's still there.
there's a lot of things like that. I would like to be able to smuggle contraband. I would like to get into more ship fights. I would like a stronger ship, but all of that stuff is so late game. And all of that stuff requires an investment of resources that you just don't get. That it's like, oh, you made this a big deal about being able to play the way you want to play. But the way I want to play requires like an investment in the game that is like, well, before you can be a cool pirate smuggler, you got to play for 50 hours doing other stuff.
Right.
It's like, well, I don't know if I want to invest all that time and effort to get to the point that I wanted to be at in the beginning.
Right. Right. Question now. You're playing Starfield, you're in it. You're obviously going to still continue to play it, right?
At least for the next week.
Yeah. If you I guess I'll have to ask you next week. But if Baldur's Gate came out on console tomorrow, would you quit Starfield and play Baldur's Gate?
The reason I'm having trouble playing Starfield is because Baldur's Gate is already out.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
It is out and installed on my PS5.
Oh, I
It's
didn't
a
realize that.
it's a button click away.
And it's
And
killing you.
it's killing me every single time I play Starfield. I'm like, you know what? I'm having an okay time with this, but in the back of my mind, it's like,
Baldur's
could be
Gate's
playing
there.
You could be playing Baldur's Gate.
Oh, another thing that drives me nuts. This just happened because I was watching my stream from when I was first playing. Oh my god, your companions get in the way of your shots. Oh my god, your companions get in the way. They stand right the fuck in front of you all the time. Barrett is the worst. And then he yells at you, "Don't shoot me." It's like, "Don't stand in my shot."
Well,
I was
especially-
shooting before you stepped in front of me.
which is especially funny in that situation because you gave Barrett a sniper rifle.
Yeah.
It's like, dude,
No, Barrett doesn't have a sniper rifle. I gave
Oh, he
Barrett a
doesn't.
particle
Okay.
beam because he's proficient in particle beam. So I have a handgun, a pistol
Gotcha.
that is a particle beam.
And yeah, like I want to do more crime stuff. I want to do more crime stuff, but I haven't found the right planets and stuff that would allow me to do that. And
Go to
so,
the well. That's where all the crime stuff is. That's
okay,
where all the crime stuff is.
I've been waiting to get to Neon. I've been waiting for the main story to take me to Neon because I don't
Mhm.
know where that is.
What was the crap? I can't remember. What was the Netflix anime that was a terrible video game, but they made it
Cyberpunk?
was it Cyberpunk? Yeah, I
Cyberpunk
think it
Edge
was.
Runners?
Yeah, and it's like there's an above ground and then there was the underground city, what was like and it became a fight between the underground and the top grounders and the undergrounders.
Oh no, that's Arcane.
Yes. That's when you go down there, that's what it feels like. It feels like,
Okay.
oh, there's, New Atlantis, like this beautiful shining city and everything's perfect and fountains and trees. And then you go underneath and it's like, okay, this is the old city. This is where, like you watch your pockets. This is where you can get all your stolen stuff fenced. This is where,
Okay, that's
where
basically where I want to live.
yeah. Where people end up, oh yeah, there's apartments that you can get there. In fact, I had somebody refer to like, oh, there's an apartment down here, but nobody's gonna buy that.
Hmm.
Who would want that one? It's got a bad history to it.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to find that. Pist says join the Crimson Fleet, which I would. I don't know how to do that though. So yeah, that there was one time that I got caught with contraband, and I was like, I don't want to deal with this, so I'm just gonna pay the fine, go to jail. And when I was in the jail, I basically I just paid a fine, walked out, and was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna rob these fuckers blind. And so I snuck around the tiny police station in Acolyte City, pickpocketing both the two cops there, pickpocketing them, lockpicking anything that I could, and that I found more contraband and stole a couple med packs. And I was like, yeah, this is what you get for arresting me. And I want to do more things like that.
Yeah. All right. So, were there any other games that you played this week?
Yes.
Good. You can talk about it while you go to the bathroom. What
Okay.
games did you play this week other than Starfall?
I found a new mobile game that has broken the spell of Marvel Snap.
Oh,
It is
okay.
it's a game that came out on consoles a while ago called Moonlighter. And it's kind of a roguelite Zelda game, coupled with some like inventory management shop. Like Uplay has a merchant. There's the city called Ryoka. And at some point in the past, a dungeon opened up there. And a whole bunch of heroes decided, hey, we want to go into this dungeon to get treasure. Well, a town sprouted up around those dungeons with a whole bunch of merchants that would sell the heroes stuff. And so there kind of became this two-class system, merchants and heroes. Uplay has a merchant who basically moonlights as a hero. And so during the day, you sell stuff. And then during the night, you dungeon delve to find more things that you can then sell. Uh, and it's it's a really, really cool gameplay loop. I'm actually playing it on mobile. On mobile, it is produced. I don't know if produced, but it's a Netflix game. So if you have a Netflix subscription, you can actually download it for free, and that's what I've been doing. It works shockingly well on a mobile device. Uh, Most games, like the original game, is a dual joystick, not dual joystick, but it's a joystick game. You run around the environment, and you hack and stuff. On phone, you can choose to have him attack automatically. Uh, and so uh, I'll talk about what's going on in the video first. This is the merchant section of the game. This is what you do during the day. You open up your shop, you place items on the table to purchase, and people come in, and if you can set the price, and this is kind of the cool trick of the game, you can set the price of an item, and people will tell you if it's too low or too high. If it's too low, that when they buy it, their eyes light up and they're like, "Oh, I got such a good deal on this." If it's too high, they make a face that's either grouchy or a resigned sigh. So it's like, "Oh, this is offensively high," or it's overpriced, but I guess I'll buy it. And so you have to gauge people's reactions like that to determine what is the good sale price for this item. And so it's always fun when you find a new item that doesn't have a price on it that you've never sold before, because you then get to kind of tinker with that price of, okay, what do people want from this? Um, but you need to do that because that's what gives you the money to upgrade your equipment. That's what gives you the money to buy new weapons, buy new armor, enchant, buy potions, and even buy upgrades to the shop. So you can buy all these things. And then when you're done selling, you close the shop for the night and then you start dungeon diving. And that's where the cool mobile aspect comes in. Because you can play it as with a virtual joystick, but I don't think that works very well. You can then set it up so that the game auto attacks for you. So it's very old school Zelda like in that it's an isometric view and the dungeons are like one room per screen. So you go to the edge and then you go to another room. You go through a door and that takes you to another room. Uh, when you enter a room, your character will automatically lock on to the closest enemy and attack them. And when that enemy dies, they'll automatically go to the next enemy to attack them. And what you can do then is swipe up, down, left, right, or diagonally to dodge out of the way. And so what works so well on a mobile device is uh, the auto attack. Like, it's just doing the kind of mindless button pressing that you would be doing anyways. The dodging is kind of the real key to the whole combat. And so what makes it work really well is there are some screens where some dungeon rooms where I don't have to tap the screen at all because the character will just take care of everything. There are other rooms where uh, some enemies telegraph their attack before they do it. And so I'm watching the screen, I see them telegraph, and I can swipe to have the character roll out of the way, and then they'll go back to automatically attacking. And it works so well on the tiny screen where my finger moving up, down, left, or right blocks a large real estate. But when the character's moving and attacking on their own, it's just less things for me to worry about. And so focusing on dodging fits really, really well, and it makes it play really, really well. And that allows me to focus more on, you know, less on frustrating combat and actually engage with the game and its mechanics in a way that's not frustrating. And what's neat about the game when you're dungeon diving is that you have a packet of like 20 items. It can hold 20 things. And that the inventory management is kind of part of a main part of the game because you'll pick up some items that will say this has to be placed on the bottom level of your pack. This has to be placed on the side. Or when you come to town, when you teleport back to town, this item will destroy the item next to it to the left or right. And so what you then have to do is go into your pack and rearrange things, because if I have an item that's going to destroy the item to my left when I teleport back to town, if I move that item all the way to the left side so that it's not actually pointing at another item, there's nothing for it to destroy. And so you kind of get into this habit of whenever you delve deep into a dungeon and you've got a whole bunch of items, you're in looking at your pack going, okay, what do I want to keep? How can I rearrange this so that nothing gets destroyed when I teleport back to town? Or uh, maybe there was a specific item that you want to take because you need it for crafting. And so then you have to look and go, okay, my pack is full. I can sell some stuff right away to make room, or do I want to keep what I have? And so you're constantly playing this management game of, well, I picked up a whole bunch of this item I could sell for 70 coins. I'm going to dump those now so that I can start filling up my pack with stuff I can sell for 2,000 coins. It's like I want to load up on the expensive stuff. And so it's a fun inventory management when you're delving into the dungeon. But then when you come back out, you've got like this really cool merchant mini game that you play. And it's well designed in that the gameplay loop, there's always something to do. There's always something to buy. The prices inflate shockingly fast. It goes from, oh, this is 1,000 gold to upgrade to it's 14,000 gold. Oh, now it's 44,000 gold.
Oh,
And it's
wow.
like
Okay.
that increases a lot.
Yeah.
But so do your sales. And so I'll dive into a dungeon, come back with a bunch of stuff, and sell it all for 60,000. And I'm like, oh, I've got enough for an upgrade. So there's always some upgrade to get, whether it's for the town, whether it's for your equipment, or whether it's for your shop. There's always something to do, always something to get money on, always a reason to dive back into that dungeon and just try to find more stuff to sell. It's a really cool gameplay loop, plays shockingly well on mobile, and ended up just being like a really great surprise. I said that it had broken the spell of Marvel Snap. The Snap is a daily game. You know, it's got daily rewards, and so it's a game that I've generally played a little bit every day. Have not played it for 2 days because whenever I open my phone, I'm like, I wanna play some Moonlighter. What works well on mobile is whenever you go to a different screen in the dungeon, it saves your game. So that means I can be in the middle of a dungeon and I'm not losing any progress if I stop the app or put it away. And that's to say, each cycle, each dungeon delving, and then each selling cycle take like 10 minutes. So even on its own, it's a pretty mobile friendly game. But the fact that it saves every single room means that like I'm never worried about losing progress if hey, I'm playing and then I decide to stop and do something else. Like it's structured really well to work as a game you play for a couple minutes at a time. It's funny watching this person have such trouble with this this enemy that it's pretty easy to kill. Yeah, Oxytocin says that they have it.
Mhm. They just haven't played it yet.
Yeah, it's play it. I highly recommend it. It's really, really cool. Oh, AC Ray says it's one of those games Epic had offered for free and sits unplayed in his library. I highly recommend it. Like I said, it's a cool gameplay loop. It's got that one more turn quality. It's like, oh, you know what? I just upgraded my sword, but if I just delve into the dungeon one more time, I can get enough money to upgrade my
Just
my
one
other
more
weapon.
time.
Just one more. Just go into the dungeon, get some stuff, and then you come back and you're like, oh, well, now I want to upgrade my armor.
Yeah.
Oh, now I want to upgrade my shop. If I just get one more whetstone, I can upgrade my sword. Come on, man. Come on.
All right.
Very,
So
very cool.
anything else that you played?
That's it.
All right.
Oh, I guess I beat Armored Core before Starfield came out. But the way that game is structured, you want to play New Game Plus.
Mhm.
Because the moment that game ended, it just restarted from the beginning again.
Right.
And so I got what felt like a cool, sad anime ending. You know, the kind of ending that a lot of 80s animes have. I'm happy with it. I might go back to try to finish it again later, but yeah, it remained really cool.
Yeah. And if you're watching right now, please, you just saw the little alert come up. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Please. It makes a difference. So I'm reminding you right now, if you like this content and want more, like and subscribe, whether you're on Twitch or YouTube. All right. So shall we hit the news?
Yeah.
All right. Let's hit, wait for it, the news. This first item is
I mean, let's start with the best news. Stray, the cat game, is being made into a movie.
You got that as well. You didn't see that I had that as one of my items?
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah. I wrote Stray animated movie is announced. Yeah, Stray's being turned into a movie. An
I
animated film.
Yeah, I didn't beat that game, but hey, that's cool. I liked what I played of it.
Yeah, so let me get to where my news are. So yeah, Annapurna is preparing Annapurna Animation. Because remember, Annapurna has two different, arms of it. Has the games and also has an animation studio. And they are going to adapt Blue 12's game Stray, the one about the cat. And Robert Baird and Andrew Milstein, both formerly Disney animation executives, and now with Annapurna Animations, said that they told Entertainment Weekly that the game is essentially, for where they see it, a buddy comedy with a hilarious dynamic between the cat and the robot.
I mean, yeah, that's a lot of what it was.
Yeah. So yeah, that's becoming a thing, and I no word on when or where. It just was announced that they will be making an animated movie.
Yeah, they
of Stray.
basically sold the rights and they're working on it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they sold the rights. They probably licensed the rights.
I guess I wonder if did Annapurna produce the game as well?
No, I don't think so. Maybe. This is kind of an Annapurna type game.
Yeah.
So it would not surprise me if they were the producers. And it also wouldn't surprise me if that's the case, why they would be making a animated, because
Yes.
they have an animation branch.
It was published by Annapurna Interactive, and you know what?
So
Hey, that's
that should have been, actually, now that I realize that, this shouldn't have even been news. This was a foregone conclusion once Stray was
popular.
successful.
That's corporate synergy, baby.
Yep. Isn't that the thing that you hate? Is like, all of your media being run by a single company, but it's okay for Annapurna?
Well, I mean, Annapurna's not Disney, right?
Not yet.
And oh yeah, this is the start of Annapurna's media takeover.
Hey, Disney executives now work at Annapurna for a reason.
In 30 years, Annapurna's gonna own Marvel and Star Wars.
Hey, listen, I remember when Google was just this funny little startup in San Francisco. So little things start big corporations. So
Could
who
be.
knows?
Actually, and you know what? That's a nice segue into
Mhm.
another story I had.
Mhm.
Humble Game Studios
Yeah.
at Gamescom
Yep.
talked about various things like studio acquisitions. So
Mhm.
they had mentioned Humble Games has been publishing games for a while now. And it's like a second party where
Right.
they own the IP, but another developer comes in and makes the game.
Right.
And so they said at Gamescom, a natural extension of that is to buy a studio.
Instead of renting the cow, they want to buy it. or
Mhm.
instead of buying the milk, they renting the cow that gives them the milk. They want to actually own the cow.
Yes. And they've had a couple big successes with their published games, and so
Mhm.
yeah, this might be the beginning of a big player, or it could just be like the next. Oh, what's that studio that always makes fun of E3? They always have
Devolver?
Devolver. If anything, I think Hummel might be
I
the
was gonna
next
say either that or
Devolver.
Rooster Teeth.
Nah, yeah, they're the next Devolver. A
Yeah.
solid like indie publisher.
Mhm. And let's see. Speaking of, actually, no, that's not a very good one. We were talking about that. I can't think of anything. There are no natural segues to anything that I've got. So
Then make an unnatural segue.
I'll make an unnatural segue to completely not anything to do with anything independent. If you are looking for DLC for Tears of the Kingdom, got some bad news for you. Official. No DLC will be made for Tears of the Kingdom. So this was an interview with IG Anuma, who the producer of Tears of the Kingdom. He did with Famitsu, and it was translated by IGN. And he confirmed that there would not be any DLC for Tears of the Kingdom at all. And he said, quote, there are no plans to release additional content this time, but that's because I feel like we've done everything we can to create fun in that world, he said. Um, this,
We can't think of what else to do.
yeah,
We're out of ideas.
yep. Um, but it from also what he said in the interview, it sounds like another reason why they're not pursuing DLC is they are already moving on to the next game.
Okay, that makes sense
He
too.
also said, quote, in the first place, the reason I decided to make the sequel to the previous work was because I thought there was value in experiencing a new game in that Hyrule place. If that's the case, if a new reason arises, we might return to the same world again, whether it's a sequel or a new work. I think it's going to be a completely new game, so I hope you're looking forward to it. So I'm not angry at that. That the whole DLC is very much, going back to the trough to charge for water from the same thirsty horse. That's a simile I not quite great with, but yeah, the fact that they're taking some time trying to decide, is there more story to be told there? And rather than spending their energy trying to pump out some DLC that may not necessarily fit or that might be awkward, they're just going to watch it. And if a new story arises or something that they feel that they need, they are inspired to pursue, to just focus on a new game. Just give us a whole new
Yeah.
game and don't try and piecemeal out this like, oh, I've got an idea for a game, a new game or a sequel or some other story within that world, and I'm just going to break it up into parts and then sell it as 4 pieces of DLC.
Yeah.
I like that
I
idea, but that's, one of the nice things about making a shit ton of money is that you have the luxury to make that decision.
Yeah. And yeah, it's good. Hey, they made the thing they wanted to. If they're not if they're kind of out of ideas, then yeah, don't force them to make more DLC.
Yep.
And I think it helps that Nintendo has generally like I don't think the games have a whole lot of DLC. Like I know Smash Brothers does, I know Mario Kart does. Excuse me. But yeah, like a lot of this stuff generally seems to come out kind of old school, right? It comes out and that's the game. Any DLC they have is generally like actual additional content that doesn't do much for the base experience.
Right. Um so yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks because upside of DLC is that you don't have to wait 3 or 4 years to get it. You're usually getting it fairly soon after the natural pace of completing a game.
I mean,
Um
For me, that's always been the problem with DLC is that I finish the game, I'm done with it, and then the DLC comes
Then
out,
the
and
DLC
by then
drops.
I've moved on to something else.
Right. Yeah, timing DLC is super important because it really is individual. You're not going to you might pick up DLC that has dropped fairly soon to before you finish you fairly soon to the completion before you complete a game. But if
Yeah.
it drops way beforehand, you may just go, yeah, I'm kind of done with this game. I don't need to buy the DLC.
Yeah.
Especially if the DLC comes back with middling reviews. Whereas you will always buy, if you enjoyed a game, you will almost always buy the sequel.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So yeah, that's my story.
Okay. My next story, this is a big one for Roblox.
Which
Roblox,
is coming to Xbox, by the way.
yeah, it's coming to PlayStation. I read.
PlayStation, my bad.
Yeah, I think it's on Xbox. At the most recent like Roblox Fest, whatever the convention is, Roblox Developers Conference 2023. The company announced that anything sold on the creator marketplace, which is different than the public marketplace. The creator marketplace is for content that you buy to make other stuff. It's basically assets for other Roblox things. People who sell stuff on there will keep all of the revenue, save for, let's see, specifically minus taxes and payment processing fees.
All right.
Other than that, anything you sell on the creator,
Payment processing fees should be no more than 3%, period.
yeah. So they'll keep like above 90% of the revenue that they get from selling on the creator marketplace. That's kind of a big deal, especially for something like Roblox that I think the general marketplace is like 70-30 in favor of Roblox,
Yeah.
not the creator.
Essentially, they're giving a huge discount to the pushers that make the drugs. Sorry, yeah, the drug manufacturers, so that Roblox can push it to the child addicts to work in their sweatshop is what they're
Yes,
doing.
they're making it more profitable for people to sell assets for other people to make things.
People,
Which just
children. Let's not forget, it's children
oh
who make
yeah, sure.
things. Yeah.
Which
For them
basically
to make money off of them.
puts more content onto the public marketplace.
Yeah.
It's basically making it easier and incentivizes more people to make stuff for Roblox.
Children. People. Children. I'm not a huge fan of Roblox because it's preying on children, and it is
absolutely does.
also
Yes.
a cesspool of pedophiles.
There's a lot of child-focused labor that goes into it. But
If you're an adult on there, you're either a creator who's exploiting children or you're a pedophile looking to exploit children.
I don't know.
That's my opinion of Roblox.
There could be some people just there to enjoy the games.
I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is.
Some of the hey, now that's oversimplifying. Some of those children are the
yeah. Yeah.
Look, sometimes
I
it's not the children
am really
being
surprised that
exploited.
Roblox is even still in business. Seriously. It is such an open secret of what it is, and none of it is good for children. It is an open secret. It is the oh man, I'm having such a terrible time bringing up names these days. The actress rapist, not Harvey Firestein.
The guy from that 70s show?
No, the producer, the owner of the movie producer who was raping all the women.
Harvey Weinstein.
It is the Harvey Weinstein of video games. It is an open secret that it's not a good place that you should ever have your children around. No child should be let near that game. And yet it's still going? and successful and on the New York Stock Exchange.
Mhm.
I don't know how it is still around. It is a massive lawsuit, a class action lawsuit, just waiting to happen. It is the equivalent of the Catholic Church in the 60s right now.
Mm.
Catholic Church didn't do any of that. They just condoned it and didn't do much to stop it.
No, they did a
I
lot of it too.
No, the church didn't. They hired, they employed, they let the bad people stick around, and then they hid the fact that the bad people were doing things and just moved them from place to place because they were part of the company. And
Yeah, they were part of the church. The church did it.
yeah, no,
The,
well,
the
no,
churches, the
the
churches
church,
was the
the
movers
church
and the pushers.
allowed it to go on, and that is what Roblox is. Is it just? I don't. Uh, it'd be one thing if we didn't all know about it. We all know about it. How any parent doesn't know that is.
I don't know. I
Anyway,
don't
sorry. I
think
just
it's
went on
as
my
bad.
little anti-Roblox rant, but
Don't think it's as
it,
bad as the Catholic Church. I think with this change they make, this is good. Like for a company like that to change revenue even a little bit in favor of users is good.
yes,
So yes, maybe this could be the start of
it
a
is
more
very much a
legitimate.
cherry on that shit sundae. And
It
yeah,
it could be
a
something.
shit sundae with a cherry is better than a shit sundae with no cherry at all.
I think there is a place in the industry for these types of like user generated content games.
Absolutely.
Media Molecule used to make a bunch of them, but now they don't, and they recently shut down Dreams because I guess it just wasn't doing as well as they hoped. And so,
Mhm.
like, there's a cool place for something like this.
Agreed.
It just hopefully isn't made by children in sweatshops
Right. And,
and coding sweatshops.
yeah. There's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. Unfortunately, Roblox is very, 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 very profitable, and it's really condemnation of the whole capitalist society that Roblox is still going because it, it's not the right way to be doing it with a capital R. It is the right way to be doing it with a lowercase r. And it's very profitable, but it's not right. It ain't right, son. It just ain't right. Moving on. Let's see. My next item is if you are can drag yourself away from Starfield on Xbox in the next couple of days, you might want to jump on to Game Pass. There are 10 games, at least 10 games that are going to be leaving on Thursday from Game Pass. They include and they're leaving on Thursday, so September 15th, if I counted that right. Amazing Cultivation Simulator for the PC. Origami 2 for the cloud console and the PC.
I own this
Uh,
fucking-
Danganronpa
Oh,
V3 Killing Harmony Anniversary Edition for cloud console and PC.
that's a cool visual novel.
Oh, okay. DC League of Super Pets: The Adventures of Crypto and Ace on the cloud console and PC.
Is that what's on the hard drive?
No,
The crypto hard drive?
that might be. Who knows? Fuga Melodies of Steel, cloud console and PC. Metal Hellsinger, cloud console PC. Sid Meier's Civ 6, cloud console
Oh.
PC. Tainted Grail Conquest, cloud console PC. And
Oh.
Train Sim World 3, cloud console and PC.
Okay. That
That
makes
reminds
sense.
me, I just had an eBay auction expire. I sold something on eBay.
No.
And I think I might have gotten a lot of money for it.
Yeah,
Model train that was one of
Oh.
Kevin's. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I just realized, oh yeah, that happened like an hour ago. I should probably see how much they sold for. because the bidding was quite heavy at the end. I remember waking up this morning. It was like, there's been 3 bids, and somebody's outbid somebody else, and somebody else bids it. Crypto
That's
is a
cool.
good dog.
Crypto's a good dog. He doesn't need Edie's Ethernet cables.
I don't know what it is. My Ethernet cables are delicious. My Ethernet cables bring all the dogs to the yard. So yeah, your next item.
My next item is Skull and Bones. The game just cannot catch a break. It has lost another creative director.
It's not catching a break. They're killing it. They're killing it death by 1,000 cuts because they can't kill it outright.
So Elizabeth Pellin, who began working on the team back in 2008, has left Ubisoft Singapore to return to Ubisoft Paris. So she was basically put on the project by Ubisoft headquarters and is now no longer on the project. But in addition to that, what's interesting is that Ubisoft Singapore is now facing a labor campaign by the country's Creative Media and Publishing Union. So there's now a union push specifically on Ubisoft Singapore.
You know, I'm going to be in Singapore at the end of the month, right? At the beginning of next month. Yeah, that's where I'm connecting through. I'm spending a day in Singapore on the way out and Halloween in Singapore on the way back.
You should go check out
Should
what's
I
going
go
on.
to the Ubisoft Singapore to see if it even exists?
Is
Like,
just
or
like
if it's just like a warehouse with like the Ubisoft with the T hanging off of it.
it's just an empty office building.
A ghost office. Tumbleweeds rolling down and papers and knocked over trash cans and
So yeah, this creative director was basically placed on the project for 5 years and is now coming back to headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that says if Ubisoft is just like, oh my god, stop investing resources into this game.
They can't. That's the thing. They can't stop.
They can. They just have to release it. Just release it in whatever format it's in now. Will it be good? No. Will it be worth all the additional money? No.
Nobody will ever make a deal with Ubisoft. Ever. And I wonder if their contract with the Singaporean government is maybe it has some kind of quality.
Maybe that is it. Yeah. You can't
They
release
can't
a knowingly
shovelware.
bad game.
Yeah, that anti-shovelware clause. I could almost guarantee that there's some kind of performance requirement in order for them to not have to pay or pay a huge penalty or pay all the money back plus a penalty. Yeah, no, I who wouldn't have an anti-shovelware clause in a game like that or in a contract like that?
Mhm.
So that's why it's never coming out. There's probably a quality clause, but not a deadline. So it is a game that's never going to be out of development. I really would like to see that. I'd love to see that contract. Love to see that. My next item, we're going to talk about Starfield. I got one story about Starfield. I was able to tease out one that was actually kind of interesting to me. At least. That wasn't like, hey, here's how to do this in Starfield. Here's how to do that in Starfield. So Starfield has paid for itself, if not in just the amount of copies that it sold. It's paid for itself in Xboxes. According to research, Xbox Series X sales on Amazon increased in the last week by 1,000%.
Wow.
Yeah, let me see if I can find that. I must have. Here we go. Yeah, Peter Ovo spotted it in, you can pull up statistics under video games, and when it was pulled it up, it was showing like, hey, things that are hot on Amazon right now. And one of them was an Xbox Series X, and it had the little like, like, why is it hot? And it said 1,056% increase in sales on the e-commerce website in the last week.
Wow.
So, uh, yeah, Bethesda's game is doing exactly what Bethesda's game was supposed to do for Xbox, and that's why they bought them. It's selling consoles. And I'm not gonna lie, this is a little dangerous news for the whole Activision thing, because it's kind of proving Sony's point in that if you have a very popular game or a game that's hotly anticipated coming out on Xbox, it absolutely increases the sales of that console instantly. Now, how long that's going to stay that way, I don't know.
When people actually play the game, they'll be like, "Oh, god damn it."
Yeah, maybe. Well, we all
See,
did that with No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky did not sell PlayStations the same way.
No, but we all had that, god damn it, when we opened up No Man's Sky until it got good. It took a little while to get good, but it got good.
They were, look, No Man's Sky had a lot of hype going into it. Nowhere near the same level as Starfield.
No. Well, it was pretty high for the time. I mean, those were very, very naive days. We were younger selves.
But it was not on the level of a Bethesda game. Compare No Man's Sky to Fallout, like, no, there's no contest.
It was pretty high, and Microsoft really hyped the shit out of that game from the minute that it was Sony hyped the shit out of that game from the minute it was announced.
Yes, yeah, they did.
They really did their best. So, I mean,
they did. Like, I'm not saying it. There was a lot of hype around it, and when it came out, it didn't live up to a lot of
true.
that.
But the difference is that was not a established like, oh my god, I love them, huge, fanboys and fangirls all over the world. Where you say Bethesda game, people are like, here's my money. I don't care what it is.
And true. With Starfield specifically, this game doesn't just represent, like, it's not just the new Bethesda game. It represents a lot for Xbox going forward. Phil Spencer said, "Oh, this is the beginning of a relay race where we're going to be releasing a whole lot of good things. Like, this game represents like the justification for buying an Xbox, right?" My takeaway after all the time I spent with Starfield is maybe Microsoft really did need to buy Activision. Maybe they really do need that help making games.
I don't know.
If 7 years in development gives us Starfield, which feels like it has some fundamental user interface issues.
Yeah, that's true. I forget that Starfield is 7 years in the making. I forget that. And you're right. This is not a 7 years in the making game. It's a fine game, but it's not 7 years.
What's funny is, remember back when Baldur's Gate 3 came out, and I still haven't played it. Maybe I'll play it and think Baldur's Gate sucks. But I remember there was the controversy of like, hey, we shouldn't let this game set a new standard for RPGs going forward because it's a unique situation in which developers had 6 years, 3 of which in early access, to work out the kinks. They didn't have a publisher breathing down their neck. It's like, look, a lot of people don't get 6 years to develop a game. 6 years gives us Baldur's Gate 3. 7 years gives us Starfield. I think we've proven development time is not an indication of quality.
Nope. You can make a really shitty game in 7 years. Just look at Skull and Bones. It's going to take 20 years for that game to see the light of day, and I can guarantee you it's not going to be good. Sometimes the length of development is actually inversely proportional to the quality of the game.
We need to add Skull and Bones to the list of what's coming out first. What will
Yeah.
come out first? Skull and Bones or Dragon Age 4?
Oh, Dragon Age 4. Dragon Age 6 will come out before Skull and Bones comes out. Do you know that? And I know that. I think we did. I believe we had a Skull and Bones, and I'm gonna turn to the expert. AC Wraith, did we not have a prediction bet on Skull and Bones? How can you call it shitty if you haven't played it? Which one?
I haven't called it.
No,
I've
he said it may be a shitty game. I haven't played it yet. It may be a shitty game. We're
yes.
anticipating it's not. I
I'm
mean,
I'm I'm
all
expect,
indications are absolutely the opposite.
I'm expecting Baldur's Gate to be my personal favorite game of the
I'm
year. So
fully expecting it to be.
I'm going into it with a lot of expectations. Um
There's
I
also a
was
reason why
I
I
was
don't know that Baldur's Gate is out yet, because I cannot afford to start it before I come back from Bali.
yes.
Because one of two things are going to happen. It's either going to absolutely wreck my ability to prepare for my trip, because now I'm down to like the last 2 weeks. And two, the worst thing that could possibly happen is that I play a little bit of Baldur's Gate. It's as amazing as I expect it to be, and then I can't touch it for a month. That would be even worse.
Yeah. I just need a caveat. I'm comparing Starfield to Baldur's Gate without having played one of them. I can speak from experience that Starfield is kind of middling.
Yeah, it's
Don't
all right.
don't
It's a
know
fine game.
don't know about Baldur's Gate.
It's a
We'll see.
4-year fine game. Unfortunately, it's a 6-year game. 7-year game.
Yes. What? Why do that with the map? Why not give me a compass? I just want to know where the shops are, man. Like,
Yeah.
why don't you put a map in the directory? It's a directory. That's what a directory is for.
They were trying to
People
make it
go
like
no, people go
reality, and reality is not a good video
no.
game.
You know what's realistic? If I go to a mall and I go up to the directory, you know what they have on that
A fucking map!
Yes.
Good point.
Not
point.
having a map is unrealistic.
You are here. You
We've
are
gone-
here. Here is a universal. It does not matter what planet you're on. You're either here or you're not here. And here is a thing.
In modern day, I have GPS on my phone. I have more maps in real life than I do in this game set in the advanced future.
I don't seem to have any notes on it. The show's been pretty consistent on its opinion of the development. Good point. I don't know. There was part of me, I think, that I thought that it was actually really, really coming out, because I remember seeing a couple of live streams from some playtesters that were like, "Oh, this is really neat," and then they changed the game to make it not neat. Like, they had some good ideas and it was working, and then they're like, "Okay, here's the next playthrough," and they're like, "What the fuck is this? This is not what we were playing 2 years ago."
You mean Skull and Bones?
Skull and Bones, that's what I meant.
Yeah. Yeah, like it was set to release this November. It was all set for release. It was very close. Oh, and Pist says the bottom left thing. Oops. Stop it. God damn it. The bottom left thing is a compass. One of the 4 dots is bolder than the other 3.
I'm pulling it up right now.
I've noticed that it spins, but I thought it was just showing objective markers. I didn't think it was showing north, south, east, and west. You pull it up. I need to make this full screen to see. Although you got to get rid of Pist's.
There we go. Oh yeah, you're right. One is the other one are hashtags, and one of them is a circle. I don't know if you can see my screen, but it's right there.
Okay, so does that mean the circle one is north? Okay. Pissed. That's a fucking game changer.
Yeah. How did I not notice that?
Because it's so minor. It has to be completely...
All they had to do is make it an N. All they had to do is make it an N, or make it red.
Yes. That said, like, I'm looking forward to playing more of this game tonight. I just got a power. I want to see what I can do with it.
Yeah, I didn't even know that there was such
I
a thing as power, so
they,
I'm now very excited to go back.
it's
Unfortunately, I'm in this dogfight. I can't get out.
I mean, what's cool is you can get out of it. You just have to grab jump away, right? It's necessary for the quest, but
I arrive and almost instantly get murdered. I don't think you can grab jump when you are in combat. I am
yeah, you
instantly
can.
in combat. Oh, you can.
No,
Okay, that's good. But
th-
number 1. Number 2 is I have powered down my grab jump.
it's mine's always powered down. You, the trick is you need to, as soon as you get into the fight, you need to pause, set a destination to grab jump to, then go back into the fight and really quickly power down engine and like guns and put that into grab drive, because the more you put into grab drive, the faster the
Sooner.
countdown.
Yeah.
So it's like take down all the missiles and all the ballistics and just put it all in the grab drive and you can
I love that idea because
get
I'm
away pretty
already
quickly.
halfway. It's a 2-stage fight. It's like you fight at one planet, then you have to jump away and you have to fight at You're right there?
Yes.
Okay.
Got a
You
little,
grab
little too excited.
I know. Yeah, you have to grab jump at one planet, and then you have to go to another planet and not grab jump. You have to fight at one planet, kill 3, and then you have to
Mm.
go to another planet, kill 3. And it's that second planet. And it took me a
Is
while to get the first planet's 3 down. So the fact that if I could grab jump away and come back to it later, I would be thrilled.
so wait, what is this? What mission is this part of? Pist
This
says
is part of Ground
Altair.
Pounders.
Oh,
Yes,
ground pounders, Altair. Okay, because
it's the final stage.
there was another mission I did where it was like, oh, some spacers, there's like a colony, and the colony out on this system is governed by 4 families that are fighting against each other.
Oh, okay.
But then
Interesting.
there are these spacers that are killing everyone. So you have to like be a negotiator and form an alliance between these 4 families. And the end of that mission is you with like you basically forming an army of these settler ships and then
I love
fighting a
that.
bunch of spacers in a big dogfight.
I think that would
And
be good. I would love it if it was another ship that was helping me, but there are no other ships that are helping me.
okay.
So, if I could leave this mission in the middle of the mission and then just come back to it later when I've got a better, like, um, a better crew or higher skills, I would
Yeah.
absolutely love
A
that.
better ship.
Yeah.
So yeah, like this I know we talked a lot of negative about the game, but like we're still playing it and there's stuff to enjoy in it. Like these moments that we're talking about of, oh, you did this mission, oh, I did this mission. I did that. That's cool. That's cool. Like it's fun to do. Like, the hostage negotiation mission, for as absurd as it is a fun mission. What was I gonna do? Oh, I will say the last thing I'll say about Starfield, the most singularly hilarious moment I had in the game, the
Mhm.
accidental. So the way the game works is when you're on a planet, if you hit the left bumper, you bring up the scanner. And if while the scanner is active, if you hit the right bumper, you go to that really awful planet map. Well, I was on the planet with Sarah, and I had stumbled across this little colony. And I talked to the people, and they gave me a mission that was like, "Hey, we left one of our people. The storm rolled in. We left one of our people out there somewhere. Can you go save them?"
Yeah,
And
I did that same one.
yeah, and I thought like, okay, it's probably going to be a lot of boring running. How far away is it? So I wanted to bring up the bad map, if only to gauge some distance, right? How far is it? The thing is, to get that map, like I said, LB, then RB.
Mhm.
Very important order of events. Because if you press RB first, that's your throwable weapon.
Oh.
So I'm in this I'm in this living room with this family and Sarah, and I'm like, okay, how is this? Drop a mine in the middle of this living room, blows up, kills the parents, doesn't kill the kid. Sarah just starts freaking the fuck out. Oh my god, what did you do? Why did you do that? What is wrong with you?
Yeah, the companions having opinions about your actions can sometimes result in hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Please, please tell me that you saved that clip.
Oh,
Please tell me you saved. Oh my god,
I
how could you
didn't.
not say that?
I forgot I could.
All you had to do is hit the button and it saves the last 15 minutes, dude.
I forgot I
Why?
could. But yes, that moment made me laugh out loud. And there's that brief moment where I'm like, oh, I want to get the map. Dook, thunk. And that second of, oh shit, that's
Oh
not what I
shit.
wanted to do.
Here's the thing. You should automatically, without even questioning it, as soon as you laugh at something in any game on an Xbox, hit the button so you save that 15 minutes so that you can show it to me later and we can post it.
Next time something like that happens, I'll try to
Oh,
remember.
absolutely.
So yes, there are fun, emergent, high, accidental moments to have in that game, for as
Yeah.
much as we complain about it.
Yeah, Piss says Altair 1 and 2. Yep, that's what I'm doing. And he goes, I just did that one. You totally can. I'm assuming he means leave in the middle between the first fight and the second fight.
Yeah.
So that's good to know. Because I need a slightly better ship or a slightly better me.
You can also just buy upgrades for your ship. Like, you don't need to just get a whole new ship. You can like buy better lasers, a better cannon, better shields.
You can buy them?
Yeah. If you go to the ship technician at any load port, you can, whenever I land
Wow.
at a new place, I go to the ship technician and I'm like, okay, what shields have you got? Do you have a better shield? What engines do you have?
Fuck. I didn't know you could buy that shit. I thought you had to make that shit.
No, you can buy it. I think I've upgraded the Frontier with a new engine, new shields,
Oh,
and
god
new
damn
cannons.
it. God damn it. I thought that was the only place you could do there is like build a ship. God, fuck.
Yep. Yeah, that'd be worth
Okay.
looking into.
Well, then yeah, I'm definitely leaving so I can but because I like have so much money. So much money because I'm not spending it on anything.
Yeah. Yeah, if you buy ships are really expensive, but the pieces, they range from like 1,000 credits to like 5,000 credits. Like it's pretty
How much is
affordable.
really expensive for a ship?
Like 100. I have 70
I have
at the moment.
350,000. I could buy 3 ships.
Okay. I only have 70.
Oh no,
So
I got a
I'm
lot of I
looking at
got a lot. I bought a lot of stuff. I sold a lot. I kept a lot of stuff and sold a lot of stuff. So I could buy a ship. I didn't know that you could actually buy a ship. I thought the only other way to get it was to
Oh,
commandeer one.
no, yeah, you can absolutely buy them. Oh, Pist says I've seen 400,000 or 4 million. How many zeros is that?
That's 100,000.
$400,000 ships.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I could buy a really nice ship. I can't fly it,
That's
but I
right.
can buy it.
You don't have the Class B license yet.
It's like buying a Maserati and you don't have a driver's license, but it looks really good in the garage. Anyway,
Yep.
my next item. Let's see what we're.
Yeah.
So who was it that asked about it? When oxytocin? When is Beyond Good and Evil? Beyond Good and Evil? Oh, that is the question. Whether Beyond Good and Evil comes out before Skull and Bones.
Never. That game doesn't actually exist.
I think they come out on the same day.
You know what? I'll believe that. Yeah.
They're in exactly the same stage of development. Actually, take it back. Skull and Bones is farther along than Good and Evil, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Skull and Bones will probably come out eventually. When they figure out a way how to get out of. No, it may not. If they can get out of this contract, they're never going to release it. So my next item is games. Let's see, we talked about that. I got a couple, so I might as well hit a couple, and they're real short because Nick's running out of things to talk about. Let's see. My next item is I have to get all my screen back because I was changed everything in order to go back and look at the compass. Coming up, I've talked about it that I'm not going to be here for the month of October, so there's going to be no shows that I to know of. I mean, I can't imagine that I will have a good enough internet. I doubt that I will have good enough internet. I certainly would have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning in order to do a show, so that limits the chance that even if I have good internet, that I will do a show. But so we're not going to have GameHounds podcast, but Nick has said that since it is the month of October, that he will be playing horror games on from 2 p.m. Pacific to 5 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
While
the
on
same
every
time.
Sunday, same time, every Sunday, and he's going to have to do it only on Twitch. So if you are a YouTube viewer, you're going to have to go over to Twitch and watch it on Twitch. But he will be playing horror games all through the month of October, every Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. Well, one of the games he's not going to be playing is Alone in the Dark. Alone in the Dark was supposed to be released this November or October. It was supposed to be a Halloween release. The reboot of it, THQ Nordic announced this week that they are delaying it for surprise, surprise, polish reasons. January 16th, 2024.
You know what? I think they might have just delayed it because there's not a lot coming out in January and there's too much coming out in October.
Right. Yes.
Like just get it out of the traffic jam.
Yeah, and they cited that as the polish as a secondary. The main reason being that they don't want to compete with Alan Wake 2, City Skyline 2, and Spider-Man.
Yeah,
all
that's
coming out in October.
Perfectly reasonable.
Yeah. According to their press release, they said we aim to truly remain as alone in the dark.
Okay, kudos to whoever wrote that press release. They're having fun with their job.
Right, and they said also that it gives them time to polish.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's
good,
yeah, because I do think that game would get completely lost in the shuffle.
Oh yeah, and
that was
realistically, only one of those games is what you consider a horror game that you will be playing. Have you got a lineup yet of what you're going to be playing in October?
No. I figured I would put out a poll to see what people wanted.
You should probably do it now. We're running out of time.
Yeah.
You only have a couple of episodes. Like, let me pull up my calendar here. We only have a couple of shows before my last show.
How do you do game polls? How do you do polls?
I'll show you how to do it. We'll put it up on the Discord. So if you are interested in voting on this, the Discord information is right there. Go to our Discord. It's also, you will see it in our description below, whether you're on Twitch or YouTube. Go to our Discord. And I believe it's also, maybe not on this in YouTube on this episode, but you can go to our page. And while you're there, you might as well subscribe to us on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. But on our channel information, you will see the Discord link. So you can join our Discord. Happy to have you. And we will be posting that today after the show. And I will teach Nick how to do a poll because he'll probably want to do one while I'm gone. But we have 1, 2, 3 episodes. 3 only before we go dark on the show. Nick's first episode doing horror games is going to be October 8th. And even October 1st, I'm not going to be much good. But October 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 29th are going to be Nick playing horror games. So I'm assuming Alan Wake's going to be one of them. But put together your list, and that poll will be there today at that Discord right there.
Yeah, what stuff is that Alan Wake doesn't come out till the end of the month. So most of it will be non-Alan Wake.
All right. Well, put together your list of possibilities for each week so that we can get that poll up there today. so that people can vote.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, but Alone in the Dark is going to be a January release. Next item. Oh, actually, no.
So-
That's why I said I was going to do 2 because I'm
okay.
way more ahead than yours. So let me
Yeah, I
do.
only have one left.
Yeah, you have one left. I have a couple. But I have to get to my banners. My next item is speaking of horror games, Vampire Masquerade 2, Electric Boogaloo. No. Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines. Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines 2 was announced at PAX. Let's not forget this week was PAX and Tokyo Game Show. Of course, nobody really cared because Starfall's out. But Vampire Masquerade has been officially announced with a brand new trailer showing it off at PAX, which was this last weekend. Development was been in the air for a while, but according to the trailer, this will be arriving in 2024 with a whole new developer making it. So Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines was made in 2004. Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is set for release Q1, Q2 of 2024. So this is going to be 20 years after the original game. And
Nuts.
the original was made by Hardsuit Labs before it switched hands to the Chinese Room in 2021. So the Chinese Room, who started out as the mod team for Half-Life 2, is best known for games like Dear Esther and Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, Nick's favorite game ever.
I'm
Are you
curious to
there,
see.
Nick?
Yes. I'm
Trying to
curious.
remember. You hated that game. You hated that game. I actually really liked it. You hated
No,
that game.
it's a terrible game.
Oh, I actually really like that game.
Terrible.
And Dear Esther is another one very similar to it.
Dear Esther's, except Dear Esther's good.
Yeah. I think
I'm
of them
interested to see what Chinese Room does with Vampire the Masquerade, because my understanding is that Vampire the Masquerade is a pretty mechanics heavy RPG, and the Chinese Room seems to specialize in walking simulators, which
yeah,
are two completely different
exactly. That's what I was
things.
thinking. I'm like, how's that going to work?
I don't
but
think I've seen a Chinese Room game that actually has gameplay
gameplay.
mechanics. It's just walking around getting a story, and they're good at that, but it's why them?
Yeah, I don't know. But this definitely looks like gameplay.
Yeah.
And this is the trailer, by the way, that they announced they had at PAX.
First person combat, even.
Yeah. It
This
actually kind of looks cool.
This is reminding me of an old original Xbox game called Breakdown or Beatdown, and it was like a first person melee game. And it was kind of cool. It was actually really, really good first person melee.
Yeah, this I'm good with this. And it's a shame it's not coming out in October. And what they said Q1, Q2 of 2024, right? Yeah, fall of 2024. Sorry. 3 4. So that's going to be next Halloween.
Okay.
Did you know, and I know that's what they're going to do. They're going to release it next Halloween.
Oh yeah, it's vampire game. What other time would you release it?
Christmas. So yeah, that's a thing that's about to happen. So I hope you're all excited about that. I'm kind of excited myself. I mean, I remember one. I never played one, but I remember it. And it was really well received.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious. I'm intrigued.
How long until we go light on audio?
Oh, you had said we go dark.
Oh,
You go dark on the audio?
or light every time Nick walks into the room.
No, when the sun hits your face at the right angle, then you become Angel Edie.
Yeah, that's true. That's when I'm light. It's light. I'm usually this show goes very light when I'm sitting at that computer over there in front of the window between the months of June, late June to early September. That's when we're light. There you go. So, let's see, what else do I have? Looking at my banners here. Okay. So, yeah, get yours done, and then we're gonna have a slightly longer, like, discussion about something that came up in the news, and I think needs to be delved into kind of almost on a op-ed discussion. So, go
Okay.
ahead and do yours.
My last one is that the Stalker devs, their offices were damaged by a fire recently.
Wait a minute, is this Stalker the Ukrainian ones that left Kyiv and then went to Poland?
Prague.
Prague. Yep.
Yes. The fires destroyed one of the floors used by the company, and I guess it took place near the backup servers for the game, but it
We
has
covered
those.
this story.
No, this just happened.
Somebody else just had a fire, like a week ago. They announced a delay of the game partially because of a fire.
Okay. I don't know.
Do
This-
you remember what that might be, AC Wraith? It was like maybe 3 weeks ago. Okay, you keep talking. I'm going to see if I can find it.
Yeah, it's just no one was injured, and it's not clear yet if this will affect the development of the game because apparently it happened just near the backup servers. Repairs are like 70,000 in US dollars, and from what we know, there was a distributor listing that still said Stalker 2 could release this year. I don't think if any of that is confirmed. But yeah, it's just not clear if this affected development, but sucks. Sucks for a developer that has had to move to then have their new office be partially damaged by a fire.
I am looking for something that was not in this last week because, of course, everything is all about Stalker 2.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a flood?
It could be a flood.
Might have been a
The studio, the Stalker studio has said that yes, the studio is damaged by fire, but we've suffered worse, which is putting it lightly considering they had to move due to a war.
Yeah. I don't know. I just remember, man, is this a Matrix moment? I remember having this conversation about like the poor Stalker devs just can't catch a break. First, they had to like pick up and leave because of a war, and then their studios catch fire.
I know.
And then it was near the servers, and that maybe the game was damaged. This is just I'm having a serious Matrix moment here.
I know Hello Games before No Man's Sky came out got hit by a flood.
Man. This is so creepy because I absolutely remember this. Game
All the stuff
development
about flood is just No
studio.
Man's game, but
Yeah.
game damaged by fire.
Game studio fire delays game. Phantasmophobia. After a fire at the studio, co-op horror game Phantasmophobia Phasmophobia delays the console launch to October. I knew it. I knew had something like that. Yeah, Phasmophobia was delayed till October for polish reasons, and yeah, we also had a fire. But the game wasn't hurt, but yes.
You're
Yeah,
not going
that's
crazy.
2, and that was back in 16 days ago. So less than a month ago. This is the second developer that has had a fire in
No,
it.
I guess AC Wraith put that in the chat, but in
Oh.
the link, it doesn't say anything about Phasmophobia. It doesn't say anything about the game itself.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at an article
Oh
from
no,
Game
he had
Trainer.
a link here. Kinetic Games revealed to be delaying console release after fire.
Yep.
Look, we're too busy like browsing the internet ourselves to see the chat.
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, fires suck.
Fire bad. Unless of course you're cold, and then fire good. All right, so here's my long form discussion that I'm going to set a timer. Somebody set a timer for 7 minutes because I want this to go no longer than 7 minutes. Otherwise, we're going to be here for 2 hours.
Okay.
All right. So here's the thing. I was reading an article about who was at PAX this year, and surprisingly, almost nobody was at PAX as far as AAA publishers. Let's see where it was. Microsoft wasn't there at all. Sony was only present for an off the books appearance by PlayStation Indie by Shuhei Yoshida. Valve appears to have not been at PAX.
Valve
Nintendo
usually there?
was in Seattle, but they were doing a completely separate event from PAX, near PAX at the same time, kind of the way that they do at E3, right?
Mhm.
And I am going to throw it out there that, all the majors are missing E3, obviously, and they'd been doing that for years. And I thought, oh, that's because E3 sucks. And that PAX is better because PAX is actually a consumer focused event, whereas E3 is more like investor focused. And that E3 slow because developers wanted to actually have their own autonomy, started to pull away from E3 and do their own things off site. And then pandemic kind of murdered that the rest of the way because now everybody isn't tied into E3 season for these new information because honestly, the market, the stock market doesn't care that the information comes out in June or not. It changed the season, the announcement season, to whenever PlayStation or Sony wants to release that information, which gave them that autonomy. And now it seems to be starting with PAX as well. The fact that PAX wasn't held for 2 years. Now it's been held for 2 years, but it's been very comparatively low attendance. I mean, you and I didn't go this year. We'll probably go next year. I hope to go next year.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, what I thought was like, okay, everybody's starting to see E3 sucks. And they have a good reasons. And now I'm starting to see that maybe PAX is also suffering the E3 effect, that companies don't want to be held to convention timelines. And could this be signaling the end of Gamescons, like PAX, in favor of smaller controlled events and especially ones that are virtual, like the Xbox Directs and the PlayStation Showcases and the pre-recorded direct live streams? So are we starting to see the end of conventions? I mean, if it's starting to happen to PAX, you know it's going to happen. It's going to be Gamescom.
I don't think so. I think if there's I'm trying to think of like I know, yeah, Sony and Microsoft have had presences at PAX before.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they're generally pretty big presences.
Right.
But I
But
think
as people are relying upon these showcases and the directs, and they're more a direct to customer line of communication as opposed to going through a convention, are conventions becoming anachronistic? Are they kind of going the way of the buggy
No,
whip?
if anything, I think the studios, Microsoft and Sony, both of them both seem to be getting more and more conservative with their convention presences. But I think other studios, like PAX was always meant to be an indie showcase, right? And I think that's going to be the case no matter what going forward. Even if Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo aren't there, like there's going to be a ton of indie studios there. They're going to have,
Mhm.
because that's the easiest place for them to show off, because
Right.
they won't get a spot at Gamescom.
Right.
They
They
would never
don't.
get a spot at E3.
Yeah. Point.
And
So,
so,
but will PAX now become where indies go
I
to
mean, it's always been where
get?
indies go.
Yeah, but it was a place where indies go, and then it became like the place where the AAA publishers came with these, where essentially like the main floor, and then the
Hmm.
indies went to the fourth floor. Like the third floor was it second, third floor. The third floor was just like sensory overload with like these massive 20-foot statues of stuff and like huge blowouts and so loud you couldn't hear each other and people walking down aisles like this, because that's where like the big E3 style floor was. And then the fourth floor were all of these small booths where
I
the
mean,
indies go.
I think maybe you'll
That started
see,
to flip back to where it was indies. That's where
yes, and
indies go, and they're gonna be on the third floor because there's gonna be no AAAs and no big publishers there anymore?
maybe it's getting back to basics, right? Back to how it was
Right,
before
back to basics.
before PAX was slowly becoming E3, and now it's going back to being PAX, like what it was originally, which I think is okay, because we there was always a split between PAX West and PAX East. PAX
Mhm.
West was always like the more AAA publisher because it came out in September, and so it was kind of like, hey, here's the big games that you can try out before they all
Before
release.
Christmas, right.
Whereas PAX East never really had that AAA presence because it took place so early in the year. And like PAX East didn't suffer because of that. It was still a huge convention. And so if PAX West becomes like that, I think it's people still want these conventions, even if some of the major publishers pull out and become more conservative with how they announce stuff. I think there is still absolutely a space for these conventions for other games because getting your game in front of eyeballs is still the biggest challenge of the industry. And like there needs to be a way for people to do that. And conventions like this, even if they're not in person, even if it's just like a digital convention, are still a way to do that, to get your game noticed.
Mhm. Yeah, AC Ray said that it looks like it's split between buildings this year, as well as also areas seemed to. Yeah, well, there was always a split between buildings, but it was the tabletop was across the street
Mm.
in the Summit building. Now it looks like actually it's the games are split between Summit building and not Summit building. Um, and yeah, thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, in addition, this week, the kind of the thing that I think precipitated this kind of thing in my mind, and also the articles coming out about we're not really crazy about PAX this year because kind of none of the big publishers are out there. It's like we weren't able to put our hands on all these games that are coming out at Christmas, which we are usually able to at PAX. Um, and that tying in with the fact that essentially the organizer and runs E3, they have split. They are no longer doing that for the ESA.
Oh,
So the
yes,
ESA
yeah.
has no organizer
So
for
so
PAX for
E3
E3.
E3 just got even deader than it was.
So, so what's gonna come out first? The next E3 or Skull and Bones? That's what it is. E3, E the Skull and Bones and Beyond Good and Evil 2 both debuting at E3, the next E3. That's my prediction. The next time we have E3 is when we'll find out about Skull and Bones and Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, I'm reading this article about PAX West about how it was split, and
okay,
it
add
does
another
sound
2
like it
minutes to the
was.
timer. 2
It
minutes.
sounds like it was very confusing. It sounds like it was really bad.
Yeah, it was just it was lack of work. And I'm also wondering, and this is all just like kind of blue sky kind of wondering, like seeing things starting to develop and changing the way that we are exposed to games, going towards these more virtual things, the directs and the PlayStation showcases and all the, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But also, there's always been this kind of issue with Gamescom and PAX being right after each other.
Hmm.
And they're kind of the same information if you were talking about the big developers. And maybe that's where we're starting to see the split, is that PAX is going to go back to its original roots of indie developers, where if you want to put your hands on the next Goose Game or the next Stray, that's where you're going to put your hands on it at PAX. And if you want to see what the next huge Alan Wake project is, you go to Gamescom. Or you watch a direct.
What's interesting is that, like you talked about how Nintendo had a separate convention.
Yeah.
That separate convention was in the same building.
Yeah.
That's why the article speculates that the reason PAX got shifted to another building was basically to make room for the Nintendo convention that was taking place alongside it. And so, if anything, Nintendo booted PAX out of its original building.
Which I understand why Nintendo does what it does, because it's always done it. It really wants it was the first of the trend to, we want 1000% control of a
Mm-hmm.
direct connection with our market, with our customers. And we don't want anybody getting in between it, even if it's E3, even if it's PAX. I have a problem with them doing that with PAX, and I don't think it's cool. They either, you go somewhere else and you hold your convention somewhere else. You don't you don't get to play both sides of it, you know? Like if you want to hold your own event, you go rent out some other
Yeah.
place in Seattle.
Have them take the other building instead of forcing PAX to split up.
Right. But I probably walked up to the Seattle Convention Center and either made a long-term commitment, long-term contract, and paid them crazy, stupid amounts of money. It's a little offensive that it's like, oh, well, we don't want to be part of your convention, but we want all your people.
Yeah. We want
That's
to take
kind
place in
of
the
a
same
shitty thing to do.
we want to take place in the same building at the same time, but we don't want any association with you.
I think it would be a great time for PAX to go to some other city. Like, hey, how about Portland? Portland is lovely this time of year. Just go to the Portland Convention Center. And
Yeah.
if Nintendo wants to sign a long-term contract and boot us out of our convention center that we've been at for the last 25 years, we'll go to Portland and Nintendo can hold their own convention in Seattle.
I wonder if part of this is some sort of like leftover COVID issue, because I imagine these reservations had to be booked ahead of time, right?
Uh-huh.
These reservations had to be booked at least a year in advance.
Oh, at least.
And
Well,
so
maybe not. I mean, the pandemic kind of fucked up everybody's
that's what I'm
convention
wondering. And so
schedules.
I'm wondering if maybe Nintendo used that opportunity to bully in, or maybe the convention center was like, oh, we don't know if there's going to be enough people for PAX, so we're going to book Nintendo at the same time. Like, I wonder if there was some sort of worry or confusion, like, has a consequence of COVID that led to this double booking.
Well, next year,
We'll
God
see.
is my witness. Next year, you and I are going to PAX.
Yes, I would like to.
The only reason why we didn't go to PAX this year was still a little concerned about COVID, not terribly much, but mostly that because I was going to Bali and I couldn't
Yeah.
really go to that, and then this as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, next year, fuck yeah, we're totally going.
Okay.
If I'm alive, I'm going.
If something has happened in Bali.
If Ian doesn't leave me on the bottom of a ocean somewhere after strangling me because we're brother and sister traveling, and that's what happens.
No,
Yeah,
he tied a rock to your feet. He was just trying to teach you how to
just trying
scuba.
to change the scoop.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I'll be going. And in fact, I should also start thinking about booking an Airbnb now.
That's true.
Because I do love my Airbnbs at PAX, but the Airbnbs are getting so freaking expensive at this point
Yeah.
that it's almost worthwhile getting a hotel room.
They
You
don't have
know, when
quite the same deal that they used to.
Yeah, it used to be that you could get a PAX, Airbnb between the two of us, and it'd be like $150 a night, and we'd have
Mhm.
like a house, and we wouldn't have to buy food and
Kitchen.
the
Yeah.
kitchen and showers. It was just so easy, and it's like we could all hang out in the evening and watch TV or talk about stuff or whatever. Yeah. Now they're running like it's $350 for a room in a place that has no air conditioning and you still have to make your bed. It's like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go get a hotel room for that price. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. So how many minutes was that, guys? How many minutes did we talk? That was not bad. That could have gone a lot longer. All right. So anything else before you want to close out the show? Are you gonna be I'm gonna be playing Starfield tonight. I'm gonna actually write down all the things that we talked about, the hints that everybody gave me, and like I'm gonna get out of this firefight as soon as I fucking can.
Yeah. And
And
then go do something else. When I play, I'm gonna look at my companions and give them some equipment. I'll probably look into joining the Crimson Fleet and what was the other thing I want to do? Something crime
stay away
related.
from elevators in Bali. What happens in elevators in Bali,
Oh.
or do I want to know?
Oh, the well. That's what I want to go.
Oh, yeah, you wanna speaking of elevators, yeah, you definitely need to go to the well. It's the first thing you need to do is go to the well. And
Mhm.
if you need me to watch your stream to show you where to go to get to the well, I will show you. I will walk you through
Okay.
it. Uh, Airbnbs are nice, but they've got an expensive supply and demand. Everybody caught on and they up the cost. Yeah, and the whole, like, cleaning fees, it's like, Nick, you and I have seen the place when we leave. It's fucking pristine.
Oh
The most
yeah.
they have to do is laundry, and
Yeah. We're very
that's
good.
it. And we're paying like $400 cleaning fee for 4 days. And it's like, yeah, no. So,
Oh, I guess there was an elevator crash at a luxury resort in Bali that killed 5 people.
are you trying to freak me out before I go? I mean, you
Uh,
could have told me this before I bought the tickets.
I guess it was an Instagram famous glass elevator.
Oh, well, I don't do anything with Grand Famous. Fuck that. Hillside elevator plunge exposes vulnerabilities in Bali's labor force. The chances of me being on a glass elevator are slim and none. I mean, I get it. Other people go to Bali for that shit, but that's not me.
Yeah,
Ian and I are
you're
going to be.
not going there to do Instagram friendly photo shoots?
I am not. I am not Instagram friend. This is not in. I don't even. Actually, I do have an Instagram account. I think it's got 4 pictures on it, 5 pictures on it.
Hmm.
No, I'm not Instagram anything.
Oh, the elevator at the mast
Elevator
stop.
at mast stop will take you right to the well. Exactly. You can get the well is like linear. You can get one end of it that's closer to all of the vendors is the one right behind the mercantile at the spaceport, and the other one is at the end of the mast dock. You take the stairs, yeah. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna be like 97 pounds and like with legs, like, like like absolute
Mhm.
beasts because I'm gonna be taking stairs everywhere.
Stairs and scuba.
Mhm. Oh, did I say I'm streaming it? Maybe I might stream it, but I might not do much talking. I think I'm just gonna because I'm not in a talky mood right now, believe it or not. So I may just stream it and then you can see me fuck up really bad and try to figure stuff out and maybe stop and research stuff. Cause that's how I essentially am playing it when I'm not streaming it, is I'm just stopping it and researching.
Hmm.
Honestly, I hate the fact that Xbox does not let you see comments, Twitch comments on your screen.
Oh, right. Yeah, you can set up the PlayStation version to do that, can't you?
Exactly.
Hmm.
And if I had one complaint about Xbox, like one significant complaint about streaming on Xbox, is that because I have to have my phone up and then I have to look away from my game to look at the phone. And so somebody will make a comment and like I won't even look for 30 minutes because I'm in the middle of gameplay. And then I look down and go, oh, well, I did that wrong. Like Starfield, case in point, I went all the way through the character creation, and then after I did the character creation, I was like into the game. I finally noticed that that AC Wraith had been screaming on the chat that, "Hey, you didn't add your traits." I'm like, "Traits? I didn't see any traits." So I had to start the game all over again and do my traits. So it was kind of a bad thing. So, Xbox, I know you watch this all the time. Phil, I know you're listening. Please change the Xbox so that we can actually see comments on our stream. All right. Yeah, you texted a minute after it happened, and still I played another 20 minutes before I saw it and then had to start the game all over again. Yes. You can start the game without traits and it doesn't alert you to say, "Hey, you haven't
Really?
started with traits." Yes, you can start the game without traits. I can verify that. I have the photographic evidence of that because I was doing that on stream and it was like at that point that I realized that, and that not goalie, AC Wraith made me go back and I'm like, "Oh, I'll just do it all over again." So I had to do the whole beginning all over again to the fight at the mining, when I met Barrett. That whole
Huh.
fight. I had to do it over a second time because I didn't have traits.
That's crazy.
Yep, he says there is a command at the bottom of the page to finish, which I think is absolutely ludicrous. Another huge flaw in that game. Yeah, they need to update that with the Twitch app. Agreed, pissed. It is a real problem with Xbox that you can't do that because I can't be responsive to my viewers on Xbox, but I can on PlayStation. And honestly, if this game was out on PlayStation right now, guess where I'd be buying it because I would love to stream it with you guys without having to every 5 minutes or even less, because if I want to be instantaneously responsive, or worse yet, my phone ran out of fucking battery because I've got to be running my own Twitch channel, which is just chewing through battery. It's just a real pain in the ass.
Yeah, having to keep a Twitch video going on your phone.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Blood Reaper says talking is good because I can watch it at work. Exactly. I would love to be watching, but it becomes like a real. It becomes work to stream on Xbox, and it shouldn't be that much work. It should be just fun with you guys watching me play my game and watching me fuck up. Or I could be using a gaming PC, but then I'd have to buy it all over again. Don't really want to do that. I have a gaming PC. I just didn't want to buy it on a PC because I don't. I like my thumbs. Bully, they took my thumbs. Anyway, so yeah, I will endeavor to stream, but I can't guarantee it because I also don't even know if I can. I was telling Nick that I am in the process. Oh, by the way, I can take this banner off the screen. I am in the process of tearing my house up to declutter it before the trip. And when you're cleaning your house, like deep cleaning your house and throwing shit out, and your house gets torn up in the process, it has to look way, way, way worse before it starts to look way, way, way better. Kind of like moving. That's the state I'm in right now. And I have to I unloaded my kitchen. You have no idea what it looks like over here. I have unloaded my entire kitchen is right here sitting in a pile next to me, like furniture and cookbooks and everything that was on the floor. And I have to reload it back into my kitchen. So I'm probably going to be doing that tonight rather than playing. So let's just say I can't do it Monday night because Monday night I am taking Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I am taking scuba lessons. Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific. I will be playing from 7 to 11 p.m. Pacific. And I'll do it Tuesday and Thursday on Twitch. That way I don't have to just chuck things into my kitchen to try and be on a deadline for tonight. So Tuesday, this Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific. And if there's any change to that, we will put that in the Discord. Also, a reminder, Nick will be doing a poll about what games he will be playing. You can help to decide what horror games he will be playing this next month, this October, all month of October on the Discord server.
And if you have any suggestions, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat under general. Like the list I had thought of is mainly the big horror games that have come out in the past year. But yeah, if you can think of something else.
Yeah. All right. So on that note, let's close out the show. And I'm going to run the music because you know what? One of these days, I'm going to upload all this shit to the audio.
Remember, just do it raw. There's no need for editing.
I know. I just have to do it. I have to download. I have to download everything and re-upload it. It is not. It's not a push.
Can you bulk download and bulk upload? So you just click download and then go start cleaning?
No, do it one at a time.
So inconvenient.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Streamlabs does not let you bulk download. And you have to prep. Every time you go to a show and you say, I want to download the audio, it has to prep the audio, which takes another 20 minutes for them to prep the audio. And then you can hit download and then it will start downloading.
So it's something you got to keep an eye on. You got to watch.
Yeah. It's kind of an all-night process if you're doing more than one. I mean, if I did it one show and did it right afterwards, it would be super easy. But when you get to a certain point, then it becomes like, okay, this is an entire day's worth of work now. So who knows? I might just do that when I'm in Bali because I'll have all this spare time.
True.
Not getting on elevators.
You got to do something as you're walking up those stairs.
Yep, exactly. All right. So on that note, let's close this out. No, stop. You've been listening to GameHounds, episode 691. We did record this on Sunday, September 10th, 2023. I'm Amy Sellers, ways to get a hold of us, gamehounds.net is our website, and gamehounds@gmail.com is our email. We record this show live at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern every Sunday on Twitch and on YouTube. On Twitch, we are the GameHounds. On YouTube, we are GameHounds Vids. That's GameHounds VIDS videos. We'd love to have you join us. If you're watching this after the fact, you're on Twitch or on YouTube, please come visit us live. And remember, all through the month of October, Nick will be solo playing horror games throughout the month of October. Every weekend, but on Sundays. Thank you so much to everyone in the chat room for being here. Do appreciate it. We had a couple of new people. I can't go back fast enough to find your names, but we also had some old guards. We had Kiss. Of course, Easy Great is our link. Provides all the links for everything that we talk about, which I so appreciate. Chunderbox, Chunder from down under in Australia, and who else? Oxytocin. Been a while since I've seen you as well. I think Vice might have been here for a second. And thanks also for watching. And a couple of new people. I'm sorry, I can't remember your name. I should have written it down, but I suck. So thank you for being here, and I hope to see you next week. Remember, we are patron sponsored. If you would like what you see, if you've enjoyed this and you want more of it, please, like and subscribe no matter where you are. And if you really like it, you can be a patron to us. $1 a month is all we ask. This helps pay for the subscriptions that are required in order to run all of this to be a video show, and also to have the audio feed still running up on iTunes. So please like, subscribe, and if you can, be a patron. $1 a month is all we ask. Thanks so much to our patrons, and we will talk to you next week. Bye, everyone. Awesome. All right. So I'm going to go, and we're going to set up that poll for Nick. And then I will see you all on Tuesday on Twitch for more gameplay of Starfall. All right, have a good week, everyone. Please be safe out there. By the way, like 3 people, one of which was somebody at work who sat in front of my like, I hadn't seen her in a while. She and I never see each other, but she came into the office. She spent the whole day in the office, and then she came by the desk and she had a nice long conversation with me, and then called to let me know the next day that she tested positive for COVID. So yeah, it's very much out there. And so yeah, it's COVID sucks. Don't get sick, and just wash. What at this point, you
Wash
don't
your
have to
hands.
go nuts.
Get a booster shot.
Get a booster shot. The booster shot's coming out, I think, next month, like in the next few weeks. So get a booster shot when they come available, and wash your fucking hands, and stop picking your fucking nose and rubbing your fucking eyes. That's how you get sick with it. So just be aware to having conversations on the inside with people, even if it's people you know, chances are you might be in contact with someone. So try to avoid it. And in the meantime, wash them grubby motherfucking hands of yours. And certainly before you stick them up your nose. Have a great week, everyone. We will see you on Tuesday. Bye. Thanks, AC Wraith.